Alright guys, hi, hello idiots react, and also Jamie. I was waiting for the music to be perfectly timed. However, what is playing right now is not exactly the vibe. I don't think. I found like a Kingdom Hearts playlist. I think this is Castle Oblivion. I don't know if Castle Oblivion is exactly the vibe. The vibe that we're going for. But okay, so a couple things before we, I don't know, officially start, if you want to call it that. So, Twitch chat, I do see you. YouTube chat, I do see you as well. So if it ever looks like I'm talking to people that don't exist, the answer is probably that there's people on Twitch or YouTube or vice versa, because we're multi-streaming. Now, I know that some people, when they multi-stream, they have both chats on screen. However, it's a little sus, and I've never liked to do that because I'm always afraid that somebody's gonna act up and then that's embedded in the VOD forever. So you guys will have to deal with it seeming like I'm talking to the voices in my head. Which most of the time, that is what I'm actually doing anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. I'm also gonna bring the microphone closer, because this is not like a yelling sort of stream. This is a more chill sort of stream situation, so I was telling my mom, I'm like, you may not hear me, but I am still, like, recording down here. Like, if it sounds too, because, you know, when Hunter and I stream, usually we're yelling, right? And so, like, there's a lot of shouting, and so you know when kind of we've started and then we're done. But in this case, so there is not going to be yelling necessarily. Hello, Shane, how's it going? But yeah, I'm just here. I have an assortment of snacks. Calxiyn, what do the voices tell you? Usually it's Fox and Neo related. Sometimes some other things come into the mix. But yeah, I also have a snack. I usually don't eat on stream, but it's kind of a weird time. We're in the middle of the day, and then also, like, it's, what was I gonna say? I need it to, distract myself, or, like, feel better. I don't know. Every time I do just chatting, I'm like, no one is going to show up. And I'm always, like, terrified, like, always a little scared to do just chatting stream, because with Genshin, I'm like, okay, yeah, people are gonna come watch me play Genshin, especially, you know, piggybacking off of Arnold and stealing his viewers away. That's pretty, you know, self-explanatory. Genshin's always something, you know, people will show up. Hades, there are Hades regulars, right? Every game kind of has their own set of regulars, right? But just chatting is a terrifying idea. But I remember last time I did just chatting, I was scared too. So I'm just always afraid. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I was scared too, and then it went really, really well. And we had, I don't know, like 19 viewers or something, like in combination with each other on both streams. So KH Music Pug, hi Arnold, how's it going? Arnold called me in his sleep this morning. We were talking, and then the call dropped, I guess, because his internet went out, but then he called me back, and so I answered, and I didn't hear anything, so I was like, oh, this is weird, like, I don't actually hear him on the other end. And so then we start to hear him snoring on the line, right? Because my mom's like, what happened to Arnold? And I'm like, I don't know if it's just the internet or whatever, like, maybe he didn't mean to call me back, and then we just hear him, he's just having his little snooze. It was really funny. Have you seen the Hell of a Boss music video with Stolas? No, I haven't. Maybe Hunter and I will do that tomorrow. I did hear they released a little something, a short or something. I'm really like, I don't know if this is just me. I'm like blending in with the background. This is why I tend to dress more colorfully. Maybe it's just my monitor. My monitor tends to have like sort of saturation problems. On you guys' end, I don't know, I'm blending with the chair, like I'm becoming one with the chair, is what I mean. But yeah, so I guess I should probably get this out of the way, because I have a feeling that people are gonna ask about it. Hunter and I will be reacting to Digital Circus tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it's at 6 o'clock, so I don't know if it's going to be uploaded in a timely fashion. We'll find out, but The sweater looks cute on you. Thank you. It's like one of my normal Ruby sweaters. How did you learn to edit your reactions? That is a good question. I don't know, okay? And that sounds like a cop-out answer, but just like hear me out, okay? I don't actually remember. So the way that I started in terms of my YouTube channel is I started to make Kingdom Hearts AMVs. And so it was really just about like feeling the music and then putting the clips with the music. So I've just been editing for such a long time, like literally since I was 13 years old. Also, I would like to also add, it's actually my channel's anniversary today. I have absolutely no clue. Like, I have absolutely no idea what year it is. YouTube didn't tell me, but they're like, it's your channel's birthday. So that's another reason why it's nice to do this and maybe talk and everything. Good timing, a good coincidence, if you will. But yeah, I've just been editing for such a long time that I didn't learn how to edit YouTube videos, if that makes sense. Like, I learned how to edit music video. I say that very loosely, right? And just that skill of how you have to time things with the music, that's where the editing skills come from, I think. And so, yeah, like with our reactions, it's pretty easy. We just capture the camera and then capture the source, and then we put it on top of each other after. So it's not too complicated, but yeah, I would say I've always wanted, or I've always wondered if people are like interested in that. Buddy, why is your mug comically large? I think I just have small hands, to be honest. I don't know if it's that large. Hold on. Like, if we're using the PlayStation controller for reference, I feel like that it's, I don't know. I think it might just be my hands, Ed, but it's nice to see you. Are you guys gonna react to Camp? Probably. I feel like maybe, I don't know. It's difficult because, like, the Rooster Teeth site is, like, literally about to go down. I'm just kidding. It's not like it's gonna happen in the next 5 minutes, but it's going to go down soon, so I don't know. I would like to, obviously. It's just weird because Hunter and I don't know. Like, we just don't know. We just don't know what's gonna happen. Like, it's possible that somebody could buy Camp and then be like, yeah, we don't want people doing reactions. And then we get sued, and then, obviously, it wouldn't be that crazy. Like, we wouldn't actually get sued, but, you know, concerning things, going on. But yeah, Ed is saying that the cup is huge. I didn't notice that. I thought it was a pretty normal, I like big cups, and I cannot like, okay, like, this is one of my tall glasses. I only like tall glasses. And so, these are my tall cups. The cup looks even bigger next to the controller. Oh my god, that's so funny. Authentic apathy. That's I love how you guys are like that. That just made it even worse. Oh my goodness. I sent a video. I don't think he'll mind me saying so. Eddie has been interested. I say Eddie like a personal friend. You know how it's like, oh, Elton John, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Eddie, my personal friend Eddie was asking me about some YouTube stuff. I won't say what he's doing, though. That's a secret. You'll have to, you know, find out. So I recorded a video for him just about how we film our reactions, which is funny because somebody in chat was like, how do you edit the reactions? So I was, you know, to my close personal friend Eddie, I was recording the screen, and I was recording, you know, like this or whatever. And so I realized afterward that all three of the cups that I have on my desk are all in the shot. And I was just like, oh, like, the writer of Ruby just saw that my desk is literally a disaster. Why didn't I just move the cup? And I don't know, it just makes me laugh. Like, it was a self-deprecating sort of moment where I was like, I just realized that I recorded this tutorial in terms of how we do things, and I was like, every cup in the house is right in front of my monitor. He must have been like, what is happening over here? I'm a bit of like a cup hoarder too. Like, I need multiple drinks going at the same time. I need like a warm drink, I need a cold drink, I need a fun drink, right? So usually I have juice, you know, like some sort of juice. I'll have tea or just hot water, and then I'll have regular water, and so, like, I'm just a cup girly. Like, we need multiple snacks or multiple cups or whatever. Like, multiple things need to be in the rotation. I don't know if you guys relate to that, if you guys feel that. What creator doesn't have the world's messiest desk? That is true. Arnold's desk, though, from what I remember, is pretty clean, so I think my desk kind of drives him crazy, because I just have kind of random... There's some things on my desk that probably don't need to be here. Are you excited to hear the Ruby update coming in a few weeks? Yes. They did mention that we would be getting Ruby news. They said soon, right? Like it could be as soon as this week, but it could be in the next couple weeks. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear, especially because, and I'll get into this because I did have a plan. Like, I didn't come here for a reason. I did come here for a purpose, but, you know, it's nice because Ruby, obviously, in terms of the channel's history, has a special place in my heart. And I think last year, or the year before, I don't know, I did, like, the truth about Calxiyn, if you guys look it up. And, like, that video is a live stream where I talked about the history of the entire channel and, like, all the embarrassing things that used to be on this channel. And it was fun. It was fun, but that was for the channel's anniversary, so, you know, eventually... we find out how we get back to Ruby and everything. But yes, YouTube chat is saying that you guys do hoard dishes. The protocol with reaction requests. Well, it depends on you if you mean request or commission. With a commission, the protocol is usually you DM me on Twitter or you send me an email. And then after that, I kind of vet what it is. You know, so Hunter and I don't get canceled on twitter.com, and then I ask Hunter, and if Hunter's like, yeah, sure, that sounds fun, we react to it. So if you're talking about, like, the Honkai video that we did, that was a commission, and so basically you message us on Twitter and be like, this is why I think you would like this thing, and then we'll have a team huddle and we'll decide whether or not we would like the thing. Guilty Gear, that's interesting though, because I don't know a lot about Guilty Gear, but it's one of those things that it's sort of like in your consciousness, like Guilty Gear, Xenoblade, like these are names that I'm familiar with but don't necessarily know a lot about. But a request, as in, like, just asking nicely. You can always ask nicely. It doesn't mean that we'll get to it, but you can always ask. Hello, Mr. Leaf. How's it going? You guys have some funny usernames, by the way. Like, I would love for you guys to do... I don't know, because I see other people... How do I explain this? They do streams where they mine their audience, and what I mean by that is they're like, my audience shows me their PC, my audience shows me their room, right? I would love to do, like, a username roundup. Like, I kind of need to know. I have a lot of curiosity. Like, how did you guys come up with, like, you know, Shane Train has some nice alliteration. So that makes sense to me, you know? Like, Hype Train, Shane Train. It makes sense. But, you know, like, Ed, your username, Beat Linked. Like, what does beat, like, as in the vegetable? Or, like, beat as in the music? Or beat as in, like, fighting people? Like, I don't, you know, so I would love to kind of, we need to do some sort of survey. Yes, Snee Arc, that does make some sense to me. But, which Snee? Which Snee is it? I don't fuck with, like, shipping Jean and Willow or whatever, but, like, some people do it. Because I guess in their mind, Jean is old now. I don't agree. I do not agree. But it has happened. It has been known to be something that happens. What is this? Is this still Xion? Hold on. I'm trying to get to... Like, I want, like, nice music, but not necessarily sad. You know? Okay, Castle Oblivion's probably fine. Mine is too simple for this. Yes, Kairo's in the Twitch chat. I do see Beet vegetable. Oh, okay. Arnold just called me out for being stupid because I didn't realize that beet is spelled a different way. I've never had a beet, I don't think. So I would not know how it is spelled. I do need to catch up though. I can't believe that, you know, there's 20 of you, but like, I'm already overwhelmed in terms of having to, like, oh my god, like there's things that I missed. Arcane finale when? We're gonna talk about it. I did come into this stream with the intention to talk about something specifically. Okay, Arcane finale when? You'll find out in a couple minutes. Jean ships in the oversaturation. So, okay, you guys are saying it's Weiss and Jean. It's Weiss and Jean. And then one of you say about your username, Dread Llama, a convoluted story that involves personal injury and fantasy football. Which, that sounds hilarious. I mean, the llama part, it could be a mascot, but it also, it's kind of given like Cusco. Like, I feel like Cusco is the Dread Llama. You know, if you've ever seen Emperor's New Groove. Hey, Cal, how do you get your audio sounding so clear with no echoes? That's a very good question, because people shit on my audio all the time. I don't know why. I think it's just because what people see as an audio issue, I don't think is an actual audio issue. It's literally just my voice. Obviously, like, as we're talking in conversation, my voice is a little bit lower, and I haven't been, you know, peppy today, if you want to call it that. We'll talk about that later, too. Why Calxiyn seems so not peppy. But, you know, in our reactions, we're yelling a lot, right? And obviously that causes peaking if you don't have a good setup, but my microphone does not peak. So I think that when people talk about the audio issues, or the audio issues the audio issues they've identified in our videos, they're not hearing an audio issue. They are annoyed by my voice, but don't understand that that is not an audio issue. That is just how I sound, bestie. Like, there's nothing that we can do, like, we can't do anything about that. But as Arnold has pointed out, and I was gonna get to that, Arnold, don't worry. In the Twitch chat, Arnold has mentioned, we do have soundproofing. So that makes the room sound a lot less echoey, and it's also just, I don't know, I think it's also about how close the microphone is just to your mouth, in general. But yeah, I don't know how my audio sounds sometimes. I'm like, I'm bad, I'm terrible, and then I listen and I'm like, this isn't bad, people are just mean. I just have a very high voice when I'm excited about things. Today, we have nothing to be excited about. But yes, for one of my birthdays, Arnold did buy a lot of soundproofing, so. Treat yourself, and treat the room. Hello, Koga. How's it going? Sorry, I had a little apple break. Gonna steal that fruit. It is a good apple. In fact, it's the only good apple we have in the house. The other one, I pulled out an apple before I selected that one, and it was covered in fuzz. Like, it was fuzzy at the top, and it was not good. Like, it didn't even look like, you know when fruit gets, or like bread gets moldy and it's kind of fuzzy, or like strawberries when they get fuzzy? It didn't look like that. Like, it was pure white. And I was like, that looks more spider-like to me. I do not like that. Also, hi, Madcap. Madcap, thank you for resubbing on Twitch. Tier 1 for 7 months. Hi, what did I miss? You missed? Well, we had a snack. We're talking about some editing. I mentioned that Hunter and I are gonna react to Digital Circus tomorrow, and so maybe we'll do some other things. But you didn't really, we've been just, chatting. We haven't gotten to what I meant to get to, which is okay, because I love talking to you guys. That's why I wanted to do this. But I did have plans. Oh, somebody asked about Arcane earlier, and I was like, don't worry. We'll get there. Yes, I'm kind of like, I don't know how to explain this, but I somehow got onto My Little Pony Twitter, and I didn't realize that, first of all, like, there is beef on My Little Pony Twitter, like, there's discourse about ponies, and not how they should look. Well, yes, how they should look, but then also, it wasn't even about that. Like, episodes, like, whether or not episodes are good, whether or not songs slap or not, like, there is a lot of discourse on My Little Pony Twitter. And I was very surprised, because that's one of those shows where I imagine, like, everyone's holding hands and it makes flower crowns for each other. Like, so I was a little disturbed by the fact there was beef, right? Like, there were people beefing about characters and, like, wait, was this character really annoying here, or were they just a human being? No fandom is safe, yeah, maybe, but I was like, oh my god. I was like, how did this happen? Oh my goodness. Arnold's getting into beef on Twitter. Can we talk about that? Arnold is getting into Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories beef on Twitter. In 2024, I almost forgot what year it was, honestly. I was like, I don't know. I need to remember. But yes. Arnold is getting into beef on Twitter. And, like, it went viral, or whatever. Like, it got a little too much attention, I think, relative to what he expected when he was going to make the tweet. I like Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I think Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories has a place in the world, but I just feel like that the mistake they made with Chain of Memories is, as far as I understand, when it was on the Game Boy Advance, it was turn-based, right? Because that makes sense. Like, it was like Pokemon, right? But then, when they put it on the PlayStation, they made it into real-time combat. And I feel like that is where they all went wrong, like, where it all went wrong, you know, in terms of whether or not people would like Chain of Memories, because it's such a big gameplay shift that I feel like that people would have liked a lot more if it was like another thing, right? Because if you have a turn-based game, at least it's like, that's like Persona, that's like, I don't know. I can't think of anything else. That's like Persona, that's like Pokemon, that's like whatever, right? But, like, Kingdom Hearts kind of invented a weird new genre of card-based real-time combat, and I'm sure other games have it too, don't come for me, right? But in terms of, like, that, Kingdom Hearts is the only game I am aware of that has that sort of system, and if a system has appeared after it, it was probably kind of inspired by Kingdom Hearts, maybe versus the other way around. Like, you can't be too new, right? Or else people freak out. You can't be too different, right? Like, 358 over 2 days has kind of a fuckity system, but I like the system, and I like the system in Recoded too. But, right, that system, it's like, okay, it's different, but it's not that different. Same with Birth by Sleep and the command mixing, potion making. I love the command system. I loved, like, before the internet was real, I loved looking on Kingdom Hearts websites and printing out giant charts of what commands you needed to make other commands and how they all melded into each other. Like, I loved that shit. I loved making things, you know? Like, just science lab things. I never played Kingdom Hearts. You should play it. You should play it. Absolutely. It's one of my favorite games, probably of all time. That's almost, I mean, it kind of was, and it still kind of is, but, like, that's what this channel was based about. I loved wasting printer paper. Yes, actually I did. I wonder if I still have it. Actually, hold on. I know that this is kind of unhinged. I don't care if you guys see me today. I'm wearing pants, so you guys can't see that it's been like a while since I've shaved my legs. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go find it, actually. Okay. Jonathan, don't say this to me. But I appreciate the super chat. But the audacity is very fascinating. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'll talk about that. Reactions are on the topic. Like, reactions are on the table today. However, I feel like that this is more important. So, here's my Kingdom Hearts booklet. Okay? That I printed out from the internet on probably my mom's printer paper. Or maybe I asked her to print for it at work. Oh, actually, we're on the wrong... So this is the first page, I think. And this is, like, Kingdom Hearts game. You guys see this? So, like, I'm at the Magic Cave of Agrabah. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? What is Sora's most powerful Keyblade? How do I get it? Yeah, in 2009, I was 9 years old. And I was like, you know what I need? I need to print this from the internet. Yeah, so this is what I was doing as a 9-year-old, right? So yeah, I was literally 9, and I was like, yeah, you know what? We need all of the details, and like it has like Sephiroth, right? The man, the myth, the nihilistic madman, arguably the coolest villain from the Final Fantasy series. Sephiroth is back in black. He becomes available after you beat the Hades Cup at the Colosseum. Again, Sora goes solo in this battle. And like this was on the official Kingdom Hearts website. Like when Kingdom Hearts used to have a website, this was on their website. It's Square Enix Games Kingdom Hearts FAQ. So it's not like some random website. This is the official NASquareEnix.com Kingdom Hearts website. And so yeah, I printed all of this because I guess I just needed to know. I think the biggest thing was the mystery goo, because I was 9 years old and didn't understand how to read social cues. So how would I be able to understand how to read white mushroom cues, right? So this one has, if it's shivering, you do fire. If it's a bring it gesture, you do ice. If it's a sun overhead, you do thunder. And like, how does that make sense? Right? Like the sun being overhead, you would think that that's blizzard. Like you would think that they're dying of like heat stroke or something. Trip and fall, you need cure. Spinning around, you need arrow. Frozen in place, you need stop. Floating in air, you need gravity. Like it's weird because some of these seem like you would do them to solve a problem. Right? They trip and fall, they get hurt, you use cure. But then floating in the air, you use gravity, which doesn't gravity make things float in the air, or does that make them come back down? Maybe that's wrong. But like frozen in place means that you use stop. But that doesn't make any sense, because frozen in place, if you're frozen in place, you don't want to stop, you want to go. So do you guys know what I'm saying when I say that? Like it's weird because shivering is being cold, so you use fire. But being stopped is... like, there are things that, the things that the mushrooms do, sometimes they're the opposite of the element you're supposed to use. But then other times, they are supposed to make you want to use the element you're supposed to use. Like, it's supposed to be a reflection of the element. So I just think that that's a little odd. Like, the bring it gesture for the ice. What does that, why did they do that? What does that mean, right? Like, you know, right? Because, like, spinning around representing arrow, in my mind, I'd be like, because the shivering is the fire, in my mind, I would think, oh, they want to stop spinning around, so you use stop. But that is not what the official guide says, okay? So I don't understand why they didn't have any consistency in terms of the rules of the system, or whatever, but they did not. It wasn't bring it, they were fanning themselves? Well, I guess? But then that makes it even more confusing, because they're spinning around and then you're supposed to use arrow, but they're still spinning. Arrow will make them spin more. You should use stop, because if you use stop, they'll stop spinning, right? The logic is not consistent, because shivering and fire is supposed to make you feel normal, and then fanning yourself and being cold is supposed to make you feel normal. But adding spinning, when you're already spinning, is not a normal thing to do. Also, I hope you guys will clip this stream, by the way. This is all very clippable information. But yeah, and so then you have, like, the list of Sora's most powerful Keyblade and like how to get it and stuff. Like then there's some other places I guess that players commonly got stuck. Then this is again the optional bosses and how to get them. But yeah, so I have this booklet from 2009. You guys must have been like, Cal found that really quickly. She must keep it on display somewhere. I do. I keep it in between my Kingdom Hearts games because I think that it's a nice representative. Like, it's a nice representation of the kind of child I was, because the autism or whatever, like, is just so apparent, right? Like, how many kids went on the internet at 9 years old and were like, you know what I need? I need to print out the entire page, all 20 pages of the Square Enix website, and this is something that I need to have. Like, you have game guides, right? And even now, like, I don't know, game guides sort of came back in style, came out of style. Like, there are Kingdom Hearts game guides, but you buy those guides at the store. You don't go on the internet and make your own guide with a paperclip and a dream, you know what I mean? So I just think that it's pretty... I don't know what anyone was thinking as I was a child, honestly. But I guess, like, I don't know, it's interesting, right? And this isn't to disparage my mom at all, but I'm the firstborn child. So as far as she's concerned, that could have been perfectly normal behavior for a child, right? Like, you know, because, like, what else does she have as a reference to other children, you know? And so I feel like that, like... she was probably like, this is a standard state of affairs. I don't think so, bestie. Arnold saying he did that all the time. I guess for me, it's just because I'm like, I was like 7 when I started to play Kingdom Hearts. And that seems like a very... I don't know, that seems like a very, like, old person thing for a 7-year-old to do, is what I mean. But yeah, Chain Train, I agree with you about Chain of Memories and the math. It's hard for me with the math because I have trouble doing math in my head. So, I totally get that. Like, that's, I think, the thing that you're gonna find with Rechained of Memories is that most people are gonna say that the math is hard. Or to do the math on the fly. I mean, eventually it gets to the point where your cards are so strong you don't need to do the math anymore, you just crush your enemies, but to get to the point where you're able to crush your enemies is a complicated situation, right? As you get stronger, you can just kind of zero... Is it zero or, like, counter everything? But yes. Basic math? Well, that's why I went to musical theater school, okay? My other problem is that I don't really have patience for things that I don't like. And so I was never tolerant of math, right? Like, you know, because I feel like that there's something to be said about, like, we never tell kids that they can't do English, right? Like, you know what I mean? We don't tell kids, oh, you can't do English, or you can't do, history, or something. But we, like, kids will say, I can't do math, as if math is something that you either get or you don't, and it's not something that needs to be taught, right? But I think it's two things. It's like, the problem is that with math, if you are bad at it, you are left behind. And at the first sign of struggle, I remember teachers giving me a hard time and saying, you shouldn't be in this class if you're having a hard time, right? And so I think that that's kind of the problem with math, is that math is the only subject where it's acceptable for teachers to be like, you're just stupid and you should leave, right? Instead of actually trying to teach you for some reason. Because with English, right, it's different, I think, you know, and maybe some people will disagree, like if they had a really bad English teacher, but with English, it's one of those things where you can get it eventually as long as you keep analyzing and keep paying attention. I feel like English, there may be teachers that give up, but they're not going to give up on you because they think that you'll never be able to get it. They'll give up on you if they see evidence that you're not actually trying to understand, right? But with math teachers are the first person that would love to give up on you, that they're just waiting for an excuse not to have to deal with you anymore. And yeah, I agree, Arnold. Arnold's in the Twitch chat saying that teachers like that are so lazy. And yeah, I mean, I had a really bad grade 9 math teacher. And the problem with math as opposed to English is that English does have subsequent, I don't know how to explain it, but like skills that build on each other. But when you think about it, history, English, they don't really have, it's good if you did well the year before, but the way that our school was structured, right, is that history is like, so this year we'll do World War I and II, the next year we'll do whatever, right? Like, and then we'll do world history. Like, with history or English, it's not very linear. There are obviously entry-level, things that people consider entry-level novels or entry-level Shakespeare plays, but you could not understand Romeo and Juliet. We're gonna get copyright striked because for some reason somebody put Beauty and the Beast in here. Oh dear, okay, well, a good thing that I stopped it. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. I don't remember. Oh yeah, so, you know, you could not get Romeo and Juliet, but totally get Hamlet, right? Like, Shakespeare works. I love Catholic high schools. Yeah, I know, right? Like, that's basically, Smash Man, I think I recognize you. You're somebody that I went to school with, right? Not to call you out and dox you on my stream. But yeah, and so, you know what I'm talking about, right? And so, with English, it's like Hamlet. You can understand Hamlet, not get Romeo and Juliet. You can understand Merchant of Venice and then not get, I don't know, I can't, Shakespeare plays are leaving my mind. The one with Titania, what is it called? Midsummer, right? You can understand, it's not linear progression, right? But math and science, you need the linear progression. So if your grade 9 math teacher just hated you, you're fucked, right? Because then you have to, if you're going into grade 10, and even if you have, right, a better teacher, you didn't get those skills, right? So I think that's why, in terms of talking about why do we all hate math, that is why people hated math, I think, because it was treated as something that you either get it or you don't get it. And that's not how anything should be. Like, that's not how anything should be at all. Arnold says in the Twitch chat, I don't understand school books. I don't think I've ever gone through an entire social studies book throughout any grade. Well, the thing with that is it's like, there's a little bit of information in it, so you just need to, you know, some of it. Glad you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you, Smash Man. I hope that you're doing well too. I was actually thinking, okay, I think I'm probably, hold on, I'll say this first and then we'll go back to what Arnold's saying and then we'll bounce around to the Ruby epilogue. So I'm probably the only person that I know that dreams about elementary school. And I was thinking, I was like, I want to do like, I don't know, a reunion or something. I don't know where we'd go because our elementary school is unfortunately no longer existent. They tore it down, but I was like, it wouldn't be that hard to like collect everybody and figure out where everybody is. And just, I don't know, have a party in the park or something. I was like, it's been long enough. We should see what everybody's doing. Hi, Robin, in the Twitch chat. So yeah, that's something that, like, people probably don't think this because I'm not a very outwardly, I don't know, like, I would say that I'm an outgoing person, but to the Mandarin, yes, we should all go. Oh my god, yes, that makes so much sense to me. Arnold's like, yeah, I'm gonna come too, even though Arnold did not go to school with us, but he loves the Mandarin. But yeah, that's where we used to go if our class did something good. Like, you know, some classes have a pizza party. We had, like, Mandarin. We'd all go to the Mandarin. Oh, my God. What was I gonna say? Reunion? Something. Oh, yeah, I still think, you know, it's not that I'm not an outwardly social person, but I tend to be that person where I'm, like, I'm kind of, like, in the back, and I'm always listening. You know, I'm always kind of listening, but I won't always have something to say, especially in high school, right? So I think that, you know, people that I knew in high school or elementary school, you know, or even at Randolph, right? I'm sure if there's anybody from Randolph watching the stream, which there might be, like there might be Randolph people in the stream because some of them follow my YouTube channel. They must be like, I bet Cal is so glad she got rid of us. Like she couldn't wait to leave. Like it was never like that. You know what I mean? Like I miss everybody. I miss people from elementary school, probably the most just because we were a small school, so I knew them best. I miss, you know, high school friends that I haven't talked to or stayed in touch with. I miss everybody from Randolph, right? They're probably like, Cal, you didn't seem like you were like that when you were actually there, but that was more just because of the schedule, right? Like in terms of the time. But I do miss them. I do miss my classmates a lot. But I need to catch up. I need to catch up with the chat. My girlfriend likes your hair. Thank you. This curl is like, it's perfect. Like just this curl is holding up the entire stream alone. We were almost not, I mean, I shouldn't say I was almost not streaming because I was still definitely streaming, but like it was a nerve-wracking this morning, but like this curl could hold up the entire stream for a while. I was happy with how that turned out. But going back to the Twitch chat quickly, despite being a financial and accounting major, I loved home economics. I should have applied for hospitality instead. Yeah, that's something interesting. I never took home economics, but you know, I saw on Twitter, okay, so let's get our Twitter beef in for the stream. So, somebody, I guess, was on some sort of dating app, and they're a math student, and they were like, oh, I have finals, and then the girl was replying, oh, what for? And so they had a little back and forth, and he was like, oh, I'm doing calculus and complex number analysis, I don't know, just things I didn't understand. And the girl was like, ew, why would you need that? Which, not nice, obviously not nice, but, you know, I feel like that a lot of math majors and a lot of people in STEM, they act like they're hard done by or something, and like that they are an oppressed class of workers or something like that, you know, but that is not true, okay? Even though people think math is icky, that is always about their personal experience with math, right? Or science or whatever. It's never about you, it's always about the person's personal experience with how they felt about the course, you know? No one's ever gonna tell you why would anyone need that, right? Like, the girl was like, ew, why would you do that? As in, like, why would you put yourself through that? But no one's like, why do we need people in STEM? Like, no one's asking why. You know what I mean? We all know why. Like, STEM is still one of the most valued professions or whatever. And so, yeah, so that tweet rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, how people were like, because it is disrespectful. In the context of dating, it's disrespectful, but, you know, the replies to the tweet had a lot of, like, math and science people kind of like, woe is me, right? But the thing is that you will always get, oh, accounting, that sounds boring, right? Or that sounds whatever. But no one's gonna say accounting is useless or accounting doesn't make money, right? As opposed to if you go into hospitality or English or anything like that, right? The problem is going to be on, instead of people's personal feelings with the class, what they think is, oh, your thing is useless for, like, society, right? Like, you're not gonna get a job if you have an English degree or whatever. So yeah, I just, as we were talking about the math thing, I was thinking about the thing off of Twitter. It's that, you know, as much as, like, with IT and then, like, engineering, like, as much as people may have kind of a weird reaction, where I feel like that people underplay the fact that, like, I have never gotten a not weird reaction to my degree. You know what I mean? Like, I have always gotten a weird reaction. Like, for professional communications, usually it's like they're going to replace you with AI. You're done. Why didn't you do something else? And then with acting, I feel like that's kind of obvious that people are like, you're gonna be homeless. What's the backup plan? So, but I feel like too many people are also forced to get into STEM, and that's not really what they want to do, even if they're good at it, you know? But it's never too late to change if you do want to change to hospitality, you know? I don't think it's ever too late. But okay, on Arnold's thing of the textbooks, though, it's because teachers pull from a certain amount of the textbook, but, like, I have textbooks that I got from school that we use like one time, but if you read the rest of the textbook, there is useful information, you know, in the rest of the book, right? I didn't take foods class in high school and I'm regretting it. Robin says in the Twitch chat, yeah, I mean, I can't cook, so I also, I have regrets as well. I have a little bit of a regret. Because now I can't cook. And I'm 24 and I can't cook. So, that's fun. But cooking is one of those other things, too, that people are like, you can either cook or you can't cook, and I don't think that that's true, because, I mean, I say that I can't cook, but I'm just joking, but some people are like, no, I can't cook, as if cooking is something that cannot be learned, that you either, again, you have it or you don't, but that's also not true. You just need to learn. You probably don't cook well because you've never practiced. Who needs to cook when you got mac and cheese? Yeah, that's pretty much like, I'm very much a chicken finger, mac and cheese kind of girly, like. But yes, it is practice, it is repetition. But I don't know, like, I have a very weird food palette, because, like, I love sushi, but I also like chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? Like, I like, quote-unquote, high-class food, but I'm also, like, most of the time, if you ask me, if you're like, Cal, I don't know what to have for dinner tonight, I want a pogo, probably. I want a corn dog, and I want mac and cheese. Like, that is, like, the go-to, right? I fucked up a couple pogos, though. I remember that my mom put some pogos in the fridge, right? Because usually they're in the freezer, but she put them in the fridge for us to eat. And so I took the pogos out of the fridge thinking that they were cooked because they were in the fridge. And in the container that we put when usually we have cooked things, we put it in a cooked container. But I guess that coating only matters to me particularly because they were not cooked and I ate them raw, like basically raw. I microwaved it to warm it up, but not for as long as you're supposed to cook it for. So it was raw and I just ate it and I'm not dead. I'm still alive. Can you translate pogo into British, please? Okay, so like a hot dog, but then it has breading around it, like a corn dog, basically. Pogo's a brand, but like corn dog is what you would call it. But yeah, like fried pogo, or sorry, fried hot dog. But like it's fried like with bread, like it has bread around it. Have you ever had a deep fried Mars bar? I feel like that's like the only thing, that's the only thing I can think of. You guys are also saying that some of you cannot cook. Some of you cannot do noodles, some of you cannot do popcorn. Oh, but you're saying that also there are just college kids, not you particularly, that there are other children are out there. I say children, but you're talking about college kids, which is also me. But, okay, Thorn Manic earlier had said that the problem with math is it doesn't allow for the same level of discussion as other disciplines, so it gets harder to understand, and I totally agree with that. Because with science, I feel like that, especially stuff like, I don't know, biology or something, I remember there being a lot of kind of back and forth conversation about why. But with math, you can't really you can't why the math, right? And so I think that that's the problem, is that a lot of math relies on, like, the teacher will teach you the formula, but there is no conversation about the formula and, like, why, right? But yeah, you guys, both Twitch chat and YouTube chat is quoting Ratatouille. I'm sure that I'll get better if I actually try, but it's also just so overwhelming for me. Like, Arnold's like, when Arnold's in the kitchen and he's cooking, he's just like, leave. Like, it would be better for all of us if you're just not in here, because it's just so, like, I'm a hindrance to the operation. Like, I'm not helping. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not being helpful. I'm just like, oh, sorry, Ed, I forgot you're allergic to chocolate. Well, if you've seen a deep fried Mars bar, that's sort of the same similar vibe. But yeah, Arnold will be like, leave, just let me do it, because I'm just, I don't know, I don't do well. And that's the other thing, is like, I feel like the multitasking of it all stresses me out, like, in terms of cooking. That's the thing that kind of, right? Like, I'm good with, Arnold says in the Twitch chat, prep it for me, right? Like, I can cut things up and, like, I don't know, peel a potato, maybe. I don't know, my grandparents were a little overprotective. They never, like the stove and knives and things like that, they never let me do any of that stuff. But, like, I can mash a potato, right? Like, Oh no, but you have to mash them after they're cooked, don't you? Oh, I just realized, wait a minute, you don't mash the potato before you cook it, do you? I mean, maybe, it depends on what you're doing, like maybe if you're making hash browns? Anyway. But yeah, like, I can, like, do the prepping situation, but, like, actually having to cook multiple things at once and having them all out to be ready, I don't know, like, I feel like maybe I should have done, like, McDonald's or something. Like, I did, like, retail, like, movie theater kind of vibes, right, where you're not actually cooking anything. You're just there, like, you know, you're just there to help people, like, kind of like a weird retail food mix situation. But yeah, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I think that potato, you have to mash them after you cook them. Yeah. Oh man, my best friend eats cereal without milk. I do that sometimes if I want a snack. Like, sometimes I'll bring cereal down here and I'll just, like, pop them like chips, I guess, like, you know. But yeah, I'm just scared about burning the house down. Have you seen the Ruby Justice League movies? We have. They are up on Patreon. We never put them on YouTube because it's a little suspicious, right? Like, reacting to them, but we have seen them. Oh, somebody asked about the Ruby epilogue earlier. What was about that? I forgot to answer. This is why I'm like, how do streamers have like 900 people in chat and have a coherent conversation? Because I keep forgetting. Oh, where was it? Somebody asked about the epilogue. I don't know what it would have been though, because like we've seen the epilogue. So what was it? What was it about? Oh, what are your opinions on the epilogue? I mean, it was good. I think it's unfortunate we didn't get to see Theodore, but I feel like that was just because they couldn't do it. Like, you know what I mean? They couldn't have Theodore. Right? Like, they don't even have Yatsuhashi doing lines, and Yatsuhashi already has a voice actor, so I feel like that, with the Ruby epilogue, the issue was more so just like, right? Like, I'm sure that they would have shown Theodore if they could have. But I like how Ruby Volume 9 ended. I don't want it to be different. You know? Like, I think how Ruby ended was fine. And I like how it was open-ended and we didn't get to see anything. Because then we can imagine, right, whether or not, I don't know, like, it's kind of weird to say, like, oh, we can imagine what happens next. Because you can always do that with any show. It's called fan fiction. But with how Ruby Volume 9 ended, it was in such a way that, like, it's gonna be okay. Right? Like, that they're going to win and you have that feeling of triumph even though you don't know where we're going next. More fan animations, yes. I do have one that's like, it's ready, it just has no thumbnail. Like, it's just been sitting there. Just been sitting there menacingly. It's the Cake Station Ruby fan animation. I don't know if there's anything else. But that's like the last one. To me, I accepted Ruby and AOT ended together last year. I mean, I think with Ruby, though, there's still hope that Ruby will come back. So it's not that bad, right? But, you know, because we're gonna get news soon, so I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, I would be okay with that being the ending of Ruby, like with Volume 9 being the end, right? I wouldn't be happy, but I would be okay in the sense of, like, that was a fulfilling... I don't know, like, it just felt like that it ended in a place where you can imagine that they win, and you can imagine that they, triumph against Eval and whatever. But yeah. Okay, so I did have things that I wanted to talk about, like, in terms of, I don't know how to explain this. I had things purposefully that I was like, we need to talk about a certain thing today. But, hold on, I'll catch a couple more things. Oh, okay, so Summer of Ruby. I'm in the Summer of Ruby server. I just don't know, bestie. I just don't know. Hopefully, maybe the Oscars will be part of the Summer of Ruby. You know what I mean? Like, maybe we'll have the Oscars out around that time when the community event's going on. I mean, there is something that I could release during the Summer of Ruby, but it may actually come out sooner anyway, so I don't know. But okay. I feel like we should probably, you guys are probably wondering why I gathered you all here. in terms of, like, particularly, like, based on what I said on my tweet, because if you guys saw on Twitter, I was like, okay, we have to talk about some things. You guys may have just thought, like, we need to have a talk, was, like, just a clickbait, you know, type situation. But I did have a couple things that I actually did want to talk about. It's nice, though, to just have some nice conversation before we get to the bummer stuff. I mean, and, okay, so I'll preface two things. First of all, the stream was very, hastily planned, if you want to call it that. And by hastily planned, I mean that it was conceived in the middle of the night last night, and so please bear with me in terms of, like, you know, it's a little dubious. Like, I do have notes, like, I had specific things that I wanted to talk about, but, like, again, literally in the middle of the night. So, yeah, please bear with me. And then also, like, it's kind of a bummer, but I promise that we're getting somewhere, with this. I love how I wrote this, like, this is what I was gonna say at the beginning of the stream. This did not happen, by the way. This did not happen. Oh no, bummer stuff. Yeah, I know. And so I know that, like, you guys are probably like, I'm leaving. I didn't come here to be bummed out, right? But it'll be relatively brief. It has a good ending, right? It'll make sense in a minute. Yeah, Robin in Twitch chat's like an hour into the stream, and I'm like, yeah, it was. Well, you know, we got kind of carried away. It was probably nicer to start the stream the way that we did instead of talking about, you know, other things. But I don't know, it's so awkward. Like, now I'm like, oh, it's awkward. Like, I couldn't figure out a way to, like, work this into regular conversation. Posture check. Ugh, you guys can't even see my posture because I am blending in with the chair. Say it, I can take it. Thank you, idiots. React. I'll know that you always got me. But yeah, like, it's not serious. I'm not graduating, you know? Graduating. Oh my goodness, or whatever. I'm also not pregnant. I love how every time a female content creator, or I guess a content creator with a uterus, announces something, people are like, oh, she's pregnant, she's getting engaged. Without fail, right? Somebody's always like, oh, like, are Cal and Arnold moving in together? Like, is Cal pregnant? And I'm like, no. Physically impossible, mind you, because the last time Arnold was here was December. Right? Like, I think, like, physically, it just, you know, Virgin Mary type situation over here. Like, that's what would need to happen, so no. Oh my god, it's just so, it gets me every time. Like, it's just so funny. Okay, but no, no, that's not what's happening. But yeah, like, what I wanted to talk about was something that I posted on Twitter, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I basically posted, like, Sad Boy Hours, the thread. Like, that's kind of what I was, that's what it is a time, Schneeark, you're close. It is a time. It's not that time, it's a time. We've been having a bad time. But yeah, so I posted on Twitter and I was just, you know, venting about different things. And so I think that that's something, I guess the first part of what I was thinking about was just that, like, I feel like my Twitter audience and my YouTube audience, they're seeing, like, there's a completely different sort of situation going on right now, you know what I mean? Because I feel like that my YouTube audience is probably like, Cal, we saw you 5 days ago, or, like, even, like, 3 days ago. You seemed fine, like, right? But meanwhile, Twitter is, like, they all know how depressed I am or whatever, right? And I laugh, but, you know, and that's part of the reason why, as I was thinking about, you know, what I'm gonna talk about, I was like, I feel like that it would be nice to do more just chatting streams like this, because in terms of our videos, and it's not that who we are in our videos is fake, obviously it's not, but it's just that, you know, in the reaction, in the moment, especially in the Ruby reaction moment, like, thinking of this week, it's almost like saying, oh, how can you be sad? I saw a picture of you at Disneyland and you looked so happy, right? It's like, yeah, because it was Disneyland, right? Doing reactions with Ruby and everything, Ruby is like, that's seeing your friend at Disneyland and then seeing them a week later. And so I think that, you know, it's very, it's interesting, I guess, the different sort of perceptions, because I feel like my YouTube audience probably has absolutely no clue what's going on, just because that's not something that's part of our reactions, right? And it all makes sense. And that's something else I noticed too, even posting, like, clips on Twitter, of the Hades stream, somebody was like, oh, I've never seen Cal so quiet. I've never seen her so focused, right? Because in a reaction, it's like, we're going. It's all go, go, go. But that's another reason why I think more streams like this would be a good idea, just because there's a human type of level, if that makes sense, right? It's, you know, reactions are good, and I like doing reactions, and they're fun and everything, but it's like the actual community connection. You're only connecting with that one thing. You're connecting with the reaction. You're not really connecting with us, right? And so I think more live streams would be a good idea because, you know, there's people I recognize, like, you know, obviously Robin, but like even just like regulars that they probably don't think that they probably don't know that I know that they're regulars, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you know, Shane and then Shneark and Smashman and Apathy probably, like, there are people that probably know that they're regulars, or Ed, right? But there's other people that I'm like, yeah, I recognize idiots react all the time. Like, I know, like, there are people that I have in my brain in terms of knowing people that come to the streams and whatever. So yeah, I think streaming more in general would be nice, and that's kind of what I'm going to get into. But yeah, like, it's been interesting the past couple weeks. I've had a very interesting time, just because it's very strange. It's strange to be here alone a lot. You know, my mom's going back to work now, and it's like, yay, we aren't homeless, you know, right? Like, yay, oh my goodness. And so, like, that's good. It's good that she's back at work, but, like, the house is really, really quiet. You know, especially just, like, without, you know, my grandfather here and everything, like, it's just, like, pin drop silence, and sometimes I go weeks without talking, like, seeing anyone that I'm not related to, which is kind of whack, like, just a whack situation. Just to think about, like, conceptualizing that is kind of crazy, because they talk about, oh, if you were locked in a room for 24 hours or something and didn't have any human interaction, like, I don't know, there's, like, an amount of time that you can be alone before you start going crazy, like, in terms of, they say, like, white padded room or something, like, people have done tests, you know? And so, like, it's not that, because obviously I still see my mom, but, you know, to not have school and not be able to see people very much. And obviously Arnold's not here. Like, most of my interaction comes from online versus someone actually being here. So yeah, like, it's just lonely. And that makes me happy that Ed is saying it makes them feel less lonely while they work, because I stream at like 2 a.m. And so I guess Ed is saying that they're awake, which is good. But yeah, and so, you know, and that's kind of, I guess, that's a very nice segue into what I'm talking about, is that, like, it's been lonely, and I haven't been having a very good time, and you guys probably noticed, like, the reactions were, like, going. Like, there was a very strict schedule. Like, we were out here, like, especially with a race, like, a race was going up like clockwork. Free and Dungeon Meshy were a little bit, like, we were clearly getting into a rhythm, but it didn't, you know, because I think I only did 3 episodes or something, so, yeah, you know, it depends on whether or not it was noticed, but, like, I was, like, going. The Hades videos were up again like clockwork. Twisted Wonderland was going up, but then, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I just sort of, like, why? Like, why are we doing this? Like, why am I doing this, you know? And just sort of wondering, and not, like, why am I doing this because it's a pointless sort of thing, but just, like, I don't know. Like, it's hard to explain. It's not like, oh, you don't like to do it, but it's like, but why are we doing it? Like, why, or I guess it's not even a matter of why, it's like, I could do this, but I don't want to. Like, usually I get up and I want to get to work, but then lately, kind of slowly until it happened all at once, I was like, I don't want to do anything. I'd much rather just lie on the couch and watch, like, cruise ship videos, which, if you guys know anything about me, you know that I'm not that type of person. I'm always thinking about a video script, right? Especially for the second channel, which we'll talk about her too. The second channel we'll talk about, right? And, you know, I'm always like, oh yeah, I always want to do something. But then, I don't know, like, about 2 weeks ago, I was like, but I kind of don't want to do anything. Like, I'm happy not doing anything, which is very much not, like, a Calxiyn mode of being, you know? But yeah. And so, I agree with you, Ed. Like, just, you know, you have that constant distraction at school. That's why I mentioned earlier, like, people that I went to school with probably think I did not give a fuck, right? Like, that I don't care. But yeah, I do really miss them, because even though I wasn't always part of those conversations, I like to listen. I like to be in a space and listen to other people talk, especially, you know, talking about things that I care about, right? Especially, like, musical theater and stuff. So, but speaking of cruise ships, Robin is saying that they saw someone wearing a red Disney Wish cruise shirt the other day. I would have to figure out where Robin lives, which is probably not a good topic for the stream, but yeah, I think I would have to see where the Wish is porting. But they could just be, like, that they work on the ship and now they're back at home. But yeah, like, I feel like that it'd be nice, again, like, I don't know, high school reunion, Randolph reunion. I'm mostly, like, Randolph, you know, somebody posted the other day, like, we should all get together and basically run our material like we used to do at school, and so I offered my house. I was like, you guys can all come here if you want. If you can't book the space at the school, because I think that that's probably what they're planning to do, I was like, yeah, like, you guys can all come to my house and we can all do it here if you want to. And so, yeah, like, I offered up my house. So hopefully I'll see them again. It's not all, you know, dreary and sad and whatever. But I was really happy that someone suggested that, because we all still live here. We just don't see each other, right? Because there's not really any reason to see each other. But yeah, like, I was just sort of like, you know, it sucks to be alone all the time. And that's sort of the first thing. And then it also sucks to, like, not want to do things, because usually I'm like, literally, I have, you know, ideas in the middle of the night and I have to stop myself from, like, scripting in the middle of the night and stuff. But lately I've just been like, yeah, I can kind of take or leave doing this. And I think that's, you know, some people may be like, oh, that's burnout, right? Like, when you're depressed and you lose interest in things. And it's not even, I don't think that it's necessarily that. I don't think it's burned out per se, right? But I think I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I shouldn't say that it's not, but I think that it's not the same as burnout or, like, depression, where you lose interest in things, because it wasn't that I was losing interest in things as much as I lost interest in recording, if that makes sense, in working, which I think is a little bit different, you know, because I've been playing Hades. Now that I'm in a position with Hades where I can, you know, kind of grind out the game until I stream next time, I've been playing Hades for like 12 hours a day, so clearly it's not for a lack of interest. Like, I haven't lost interest in video games or anything. But I was just kind of like, you know what I mean? Especially, too, because, you know, and this is something I talked about on Twitter, and I'm like, I don't like to get into money stuff because I think that's in really bad taste, especially when, you know, like, something a lot of people criticized Rooster Teeth for was being like, it's your fault the company is shutting down, which, first of all, I don't think that they ever said that. Like, Rooster Teeth never said that, but that's kind of the impression that people got whenever they would talk about subscriptions and money. Like, if you don't get this thing, it's your fault. So I don't like to talk about stuff like that, but I guess part of it was, like, yeah, like, this free-written video is kind of like, it's doing well. Like, it's doing as well as I thought that it would do. Like, most of them, I think, have broken 1K or something. And so that's like, my standard for, like, if something is doing well, it will usually break a 1K kind of barrier situation. And so, like, it wasn't even that. Like, it's not like that the videos aren't doing well, but I was like, it's almost like I could not post this and it wouldn't matter in terms of, like, the grand scheme of the money either. So I think that that was the other thing, is that it's not the money alone, but you have to think of your work in terms of money plus passion, and people do things for money that they aren't passionate about, and then people do things for no money that they're very passionate about, and that YouTube is kind of the middle ground where some people do not make any money at all, but they do it because they're so passionate about it. And then you have sort of the middle ground evens out in terms of, I don't really care about this thing, but I'll do it because it makes a good amount of money. So I think the problem is that, like, it's like the intersection, there has to be a Venn diagram of these things to feel motivated, and then if neither of those things really come into play, that's when you don't do something. So it's not like, and I'll never be one of those people that are like, you guys, you aren't, you guys aren't pledging for free Rin. How dare you? Except for Robin, he did pledge for free Rin, so he gets a pass. If I were to yell at everybody, Robin would be the only one who gets away. But, it's not that at all. It's mostly that, like, somebody mentioned Arcane earlier. This is for you, okay? And this is gonna sound kind of insane because people are like, but this show's so much better than Ruby. Like, Ruby sucks. Like, why Ruby and then not other thing, right? When people talk about My Hero Academia or Arcane or whatever, Freerin, like, these things are so much better than Ruby. How could you put Ruby in higher esteem? And so, with Freerin and whatnot, with Freerin and Dungeon Meshi and Arcane, like, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm kind of perfectly okay not knowing how Arcane ends, and I don't know why, because usually I'm not that type of person. I'm the type of person that, like, I need to see this through to the end, no matter how much of a train wreck it is, and Arcane is not, right? But, like, I have watched worse shows because I just needed to know, bestie. Like, The Promised Neverland, we were there for most of the ride because I just needed to know. Like, I was like, desperate to understand. Even if it's, like, on fire, like, we need to see where the train is going to end up. Like, does it bring into the station or not? And so, it's interesting because now I'm, like, with Arcane and Freerin, and I like those things, right? Again, I like them, but they aren't like Ruby, where I'm just, like, having dreams about them in the middle of the night, And maybe with Arcane, it's that another season needs to come out. Like, you kind of have to get into it, but, like, people are hyper-fixated on Arcane, right? That are not me. So I don't know if for me it'll need another season, and it's just because I didn't watch it live like everyone else, but I feel like that to say that, oh, just give it one more season is probably, like, it could happen. Like, I could be obsessed with Arcane, but, like, if it hasn't happened now, I don't know. Like, there are just things that, like, you enjoy so much that they become woven into the sense of your being, and then there are things that are just okay, right? Like, that are just, like, you like them, and you enjoy doing it in the moment, but I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of okay with never knowing how Arcane ends. It's like when you play a video game, right? Like Call to the Lamb or something, and then with Call to the Lamb, I'm like, yeah, I played it, I had my fun with it, but, like, I don't feel the need to finish it. And you hear people talk about, oh, the need to finish games really stresses gamers out because your time with a game shouldn't necessarily be, oh, I'm forcing myself to play this until the credits roll. It should be you having fun with it, right? It should be about, you having fun with it. Always funny that the worst thing about League of Legends is League of Legends. Yeah, I mean, for real, right? Like, everything that comes out of League of Legends is mostly okay, but the actual game itself is just, oh man. But I like myself a good League of Legends every now and again. I like playing Vel'Koz. But yeah, so all of that to say, it's kind of like a combination of things. Like, first of all, like, just, just loneliness, like the fact that, like, no one's here. My mom's actually upstairs. She's gonna be like, what are you talking to your stream about? This is oddly personal. But, like, I don't think it's too personal, right? But, yeah, so that was the first thing. And then the second thing was just, like, we built this channel off not liking things casually. Like, we don't like Ruby casually. We don't like Kingdom Hearts casually. We like those things a ridiculous amount of the thing. And so I think that, like, part of the problem with Dungeon Meshi and Freerin and stuff, it's like, I like those things just a normal amount. And so I think that that's kind of contributing to what I was talking about. Like, it's not even burnout, and it's not, like, even motivation, or, I mean, I guess it's kind of motivation in the sense that, like, there's a Venn diagram between, like, passion and money or whatever, right? And so it's like, with Erased, I'm like, I don't really care who's watching it because I like the show so much, and the same thing with Hades. Like, I'll edit Hades even though, it's not, like, that popular. Like, the game is super, super old, but like, Freerin and Dungeon Meshi and some of the other shows are in a weird space. Oh, Spice and Wolf, that was the other one, where I'm like, I see other people are getting views. So it's not like that this show is dead, but also, like, I don't feel that, like, fire to keep this show necessarily alive, like, for me to continue doing it. So, So last night, we're telling all this backstory for a reason, by the way. I was like, this will be quick. I promise we're getting to the point soon. And then I strayed from the notes a little bit. But yeah, so again, just like being lonely is not nice, right? And then also just like things are just not hitting as they used to. I wonder if that's just like another grief thing, but like I find the only things that I really have been enjoying lately are things that have some sort of nostalgic element, and I don't know if it's like it still could have happened this way, even like, you know, not going through the things that I went through last year or whatever. Like it probably still would have, like, I'm not saying like, oh, if my grandfather didn't pass away, I would love Arcane. Like, I don't think that that's exactly how it works, but I do think that there's kind of a compounding situation where it's like everything that makes me happy lately has some element of nostalgia. Like it's something that I liked before. You know what I mean? Like it's like Kingdom Hearts and Persona and whatever. Spider Riders stream is on the table. But yeah, and so all of that to, you know, sort of say, like, I feel like that's just the sort of thing that we're struggling with right now. Is I can't figure out if it's just like, can you not get into things because you're depressed, or is it like you wouldn't get into that thing anyway? That thing is just not the thing. You can't force it. You can't force a hyperfixation. The hyperfixation has to creep up on you in the middle of the night, right? You can't force things like that. So I was thinking about it, and then last night I was kind of hysterical. And yes, Ed is also saying that they were dealing with something similar. They lost interest in a lot of things and only latched onto their main interests. Yeah, and so I think that makes a lot of sense. Like, you latch on to the things that you remember, like, as a child, or, like, the good times, right? And so, yeah, I don't know if I would have liked Free Rent more or something. Like, I don't know. But I think that there is something to say in terms of, like, the things that are eternal with you do have some basis in nostalgia. And Hades is an interesting case, because you think that Hades wouldn't be nostalgic, because obviously I have no nostalgic connection to it. But I think the nostalgia with Hades is playing a video game, which I know sounds wild, because, like, there's a lot of different video games out there. But, like, I think gaming is the nostalgia, right? Like, for something like Hades. Not the story. With an anime, the story is nostalgic. In a way, if you've seen that anime before. It's almost like for an anime, the story's the only thing that can be nostalgic, right? Like, something you watched as a kid, that's the nostalgic part. It's like the story, the characters, right? But for a video game, gaming is not a thing that you sit and watch necessarily. Like, gaming is an action. So I think that that's a difference, is that gaming to me feels nostalgic. Just the action of gaming, regardless of what the game is. So I think we have to change the Dearly Beloved music, even though I do quite like it, because I'm afraid of copyright problems. Okay. I promise again I'm getting somewhere. So yeah, just, again, I didn't want to, like, get all sad, so I'm kind of, like, lightly tiptoeing around the problems versus explicitly saying them, because I already did mention it on Twitter. But yeah, so last night I was kind of hysterical in the middle of the night, and I was very upset. And I was sort of like, I need, like, divine intervention. Like, I need like, what am I supposed to do here? And, you know, I was sort of thinking to myself, I was like, you know, not praying necessarily, but, like, whatever. Like, when in your head you think about somebody and you're like, this is your fault, so you need to fix this. That's a conversation with my grandfather that I had last night in my head. I was like, this is your fault, so you need to do something about this, because I don't want to do anything. Like, I don't want to sing, I don't want to go to auditions, I don't want to record, I don't want to do anything except play Hades and watch cruise videos. Like, we need to do something. There needs to be some sort of intervention. Also, my Kingdom Hearts music has gone away. There we go. Oh, this is just a different Dearly Beloved. Bestie, please. Okay, anyway. So yeah, again, in the middle of the night, I was not happy. But, so I went to sleep, And they say, right, that as you're dreaming about things, as far as I know, they say that, like, when you dream about things, you problem solve or something, and your brain is supposed to, like, go through your memories and problem solve for you and whatever. And so I was thinking in my dream, I remember something very distinctly that happened that my grandfather said, and he was like, if I had a voice as beautiful as yours, I would be singing all the time, which seems like it was so obvious, like, to remember that, like, in the middle of the night last night. It was so obvious. Okay, that's a little better. It was so obvious to think about that, because I was like, yeah, like, I haven't really performed in a while. That's what I kind of miss. Like, it's not, like, because obviously this is a type of performance, but I think that, like, part of it is that I miss performing, and the problem with an audition is that it doesn't feel like a performance. An audition feels like a test. There's an audition tomorrow, and I still don't know if I'm gonna go because I'm just kind of beaten down by them lately, you know? And so I was thinking, I was like, yeah, I feel like that's kind of the issue. And on Twitter, I was like, oh, should I get a part-time job? Should I do this? Should I do that to, like, handle different things like the social aspect and whatever? But as I was thinking about that last night, I was like, yeah, like, maybe what would be better, right, is to perform more, because I know what I said was like, oh, if I had such a beautiful voice, I would sing all the time, right? But, like, I feel like that's sort of in my brain pieced together to not just about singing, but also about performance, right? So as I was thinking about it, I also thought of something that I said back in February to somebody, which was like, I would love to just take a whole week off making videos and just live stream full time and see what that's like as an experiment. And I was always like, oh no, I can't do that because I have a video schedule. And I'm like, you know, I was thinking about it when I woke up, and I was like, well, why? Why can't we do it? Who's stopping you? You know what I mean? It's not like I have a manager that is like, you need to upload, like, you need to post Dungeon Meshi 4 times a week, right? Like, it's not like, you know, that I have, like, a YouTube pimp or something that's, like, forcing me to upload certain things. And so I was just like, why am I, you know, forcing myself to do certain things or, like, stick to a certain schedule? If I want to stream for a week and not post any videos, no one's gonna come to my house, like, no one's gonna, you know, come to my house and ask me where the videos are, right? I mean, some people, like the person that was like, arcane finale, please? And obviously I'm gonna finish what I start. So now we're getting to the happy part of the stream, because I was like, here's all the bummer shit. Now here's what I actually wanted to talk about. So the first thing is that I did toy around with the idea of, like, limiting the reactions so they're alternated, which kind of sounds a little weird, but basically it's like, this week it's Freerin, this week it's Dungeon Meshi, versus, like, Dungeon Meshi and Freerin and Erased and Oshinoko and Miraculous Ladybug, like, all in the same week. And I know it's gonna take a while, like, it's gonna be kind of it's gonna take longer, but I feel like that, like, for a little bit, it would be nice to not, like, be forced into, like, 4 anime reactions a week. And so I think that what I want to do, and this is what I came up with, and this is what I wanted to talk about, is that I'd like to stream more, period. And I do appreciate, you know, during my Hades stream, we talked about this a little, like, not everyone can watch a 7-hour stream, right? And I totally understand that. What I'm hoping is that, first of all, like, Genshin and Twisted Wonderland and Hades, that'll all still get edited eventually. But what I'm hoping is, like, the other stuff, you know, like, Danganronpa, or, like, Undertale, or, oh my goodness, I'm like, what do you call it, like a voice crack? Something just got, like, caught in my throat. A frog. A whole frog. Hello, Fireman, in the Twitch chat. You are actually, we have passed the sad boy hours, so this is a good time for you to come in. But yeah, so I would like to stream more, just general blanket statement. That's what I meant to say. And, like, again, stuff that I'll try to limit it to, like, 2 hours, kind of like this, right? Where it's not like, oh my god, Cal streamed for 7 hours, I'll never be able to catch up, right? Because I understand that perspective totally, how, you know, somebody in the Hades stream was like, yeah, like, it's much easier to catch up with a 2-hour edited VOD than a 7-hour stream. What I'm hoping is, though, like, there's two types of streams, right? There's the type of stream that, like, you had to be there, and kind of, like, just chatting is kind of an intersection of those things, where just chatting, it's part of it is that you're chatting with me in real time, but then sometimes it's also the topic, and so it's still relevant to watch later. So what I'm hoping is there'll be an equal mix of streams where it's like, you can rewatch this, and it'll be okay. Like, it's a short amount of time. Like, Hunter and I had an idea where we would read your unpopular Ruby opinions, kind of like a podcast. Like, I feel like that's something where it's like, it's 2 hours, we go for 2 hours. If there's other unpopular opinions, we just do it next week. Like, kind of, again, podcast format. Thank you, Arnold, for resubbing with your Twitch Prime sub situation. But yeah, and so I was thinking, like, there'll be content like that, where it's, this is something that can be rewatched, and then it'll be other stuff where it's like, you kind of just had to be there. Like if you're lonely and you wanted company or something, right? Because that's kind of the two category stream. That's what I feel like the two categories of streams, they fall into, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like, you had to be there. And then there's, this is just somebody live streaming something that they probably would have recorded in a YouTube video format. If that makes sense. Kind of like what Arnold does. Like, Arnold does lore stuff with Genshin. That's a thing that, yes, it could be edited into a YouTube video, which Arnold obviously does. But that's like a YouTube video as a stream. Right? Whereas some streams are just streams and they were meant to be live. It's like how theater is meant to be live. Live theater exists in a live format. And so yeah, I think that I'll try to do a balance of things that, like, yes, people would be interested in rewatching this because it's, I don't know, it's Disney princess guessing and Hunter is guessing the princess personalities, and we're just doing it as a live stream because it would be too much work to edit and I'm tired. So like stuff like that where it's like, yeah, you would rewatch that, and then other stuff where it's like, you just had to be there. I need to get my apple. My apple is running away from me. And I have this joke in my notes that, like, at least one patron's gonna freak out. Which I'm kidding. I'm gonna make it be Robin because he pledged recently. But don't freak out. It's not like, oh, I just pledged for Arcane. It's never gonna happen. I'm not Arnold. Which, hopefully, Arnold will take that in jest, right? I like to finish the things I start. I'm committed to finishing Arcane. With Freerun, I'm still, again, going to finish it just very slowly. It's just gonna be slow. You know? It's not like we're giving up on it. It's just like a twice-a-month situation versus 4 weeks in a row type situation, right? And again, like I said, I know that that's gonna mean that it takes me a long time to finish certain things and stuff like that, but I feel like that, like, it might be worth it, like, to have a better balance of things. And obviously, if something comes out weekly, I'll still watch it weekly if I want to watch it weekly, but like with Dungeon Meshi and Freerun and stuff, like, they're kind of done, so it's like, right? Like, if, for example, Oshinoko Season 2 is coming out, I need to catch up with Oshinoko Season 1 if I want to react to Season 2. I'm still a little, I don't know about, you know, Oshinoko, whatever. But yeah, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is if the show is, like, done or otherwise not weekly for whatever reason, it's kind of like, I may just stop stressing myself out about it, you know what I mean? Because at this point, like, it's not getting the views, right? Like, it's not getting crazy views, I should say. Obviously, people are interested in it. That's why people are pledged on Patreon, and I'm always very mindful of the people that support me directly because I don't want to, like, disappear. And, you know, people are wondering, like, what happened to Arcane, right? Oh, hello, Nate. First time to a stream, how are you? We're okay. We're doing okay. We're talking about that I'm gonna stream more, so hopefully you will enjoy your time here, but yes, we are just talking. Okay, so the first thing was I'm gonna stream more. I don't know when, I don't know why, I think that we talked about why. But yeah, I don't know when exactly, like, you know what I mean? I don't know exactly how it's gonna happen, but like, it's going to happen, I decided. And it's going to be things that, again, are a little bit more low maintenance, like things that I don't need to edit. You know what I mean? And for some reason right now, I can't think of an example to save my goddamn life. But, like, little goody two-shoes, okay? Stuff like that, but more, which is funny because some of you are probably thinking, like, Cal, what happened? But the reactions happened. Like, the reactions happened to little goody two-shoes, basically. Like, that's why, you know, it's hard for me to stream with the demanding reaction schedule because it's just been ridiculous, like, in terms of, like, how much we have to record, how much we have to pre-record, like, it was not able to happen. So hopefully, what I'm hoping is that this will, like, reducing the reactions to an extent, or I guess reducing the reactions in terms of the ones that are backlogged. Like, tomorrow, Hunter and I will be there for the digital circus. Unless something happens to me and I'm dead, I'm pretty sure that Hunter and I will be there at 6 o'clock, right? I don't know how quickly we'll actually upload the thing, but, like, we're gonna be there for stuff that is immediate to our attention. But I may try to pull back on the things that aren't necessarily in need of my attention. The other thing I was thinking about was making more videos for the second channel, because that's really where my hyper fixation comes in, but, like, that was when I was thinking about, like, switching positions in terms of, like, how the channels would be prioritized. Like, prioritizing the second channel over the main channel. I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. Like, I'm definitely still gonna make more videos over there, but, like, I feel like that the idea of a priority system is a bit less, like, relevant in terms of, like, what I'm talking about, in terms of if we pull back on the reactions, everything else will naturally kind of sort itself out, and so the priority shift is kind of, like, non-withstanding anymore. I'm still gonna make as much second channel content as I was already planning to make, if that makes sense. That was a kind of confusing, but I hope you guys understand what I mean, is that when I was thinking about switching the channel priority, I was thinking about more of, like, a kind of, not cold turkey situation, but, like, kind of a cold turkey situation, like, you know, and I don't think that that's as relevant anymore, because if I'm streaming more and doing reactions less, the way that my days will be broken up will be a little bit different, so I'll actually give more time to script, which probably sounds a little bit confusing, but to me, it makes perfect sense. And that's the only person it has to make sense to. It's really because the thing with recording reactions as opposed to streams is that, vocally, there's only so many reactions I can make in a day, right? And so, you know, there's a very big time sink, and, like, you would think with streams the same thing happens, but it doesn't, and I'm gonna explain why. But with reactions, there's, like, the stop and start sort of situation, and then vocally it's very taxing. Whereas a live stream can always be equally taxing, but it's different because in terms of how the live stream is broken up, I can script in the morning and stream in the afternoon. But with reactions, I can never do the reactions in the afternoon and script in the morning, because the reactions need to be done with, I don't know, like, vocal, like, not even freshness. Freshness isn't the right word. But it's just because reactions have to be recorded and then they have to be edited, whereas the stream doesn't need to be edited at all, right? And so there's a big difference between you record all these reactions and then you have to edit them in the same day, or else editing will spill over to another day, right? And then that takes up like 2 days. It's like Persona, how you can only do 3 things in 1 day. I always laughed at that. I was like, that's not true. It's kind of true. Like, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, yeah. So that's the difference between a stream and then a recording session in terms of how things are kind of divided, is that with a recording session, you always have to account for the editing session that comes after that. Whereas with streaming, I can script in the morning and then stream and then my day's over, right? Basically. So, yes, I do love, though, that Ed is saying they're a big fan of the second channel content. I am posting a video tomorrow, by the way. There is a video going up on the second channel tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out how to make them more quickly, because it takes me like 3 days to script, if we're being generous. It takes me like 3 days to script, and then 1 day to record, and then 2 days to edit. And so I'm thinking about, like, trying to get an editor and for us to alternate on it. Because I hate editing. That's the other thing. I just hate editing. I hate editing so much. I feel like a lot of problems in my life would be resolved if I had, like, an entire team of editors, but obviously that's just not, like, that's just not it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just not happening. But again, it's also not, it's not a matter of editing even. It's that, like how I said before, it's just that some of these shows, like, they're fine, but I'm not, like, foaming at the mouth about it, like how I am with when I edit something for the second channel, I just lock in, and I will spend 16 hours editing that thing for the second channel, because I just care so much about it, right? And so, on one level, it's like, yeah, like, having an editor for the reactions would be really helpful, but it's also, like, it doesn't resolve, like, the root of the issue. So we're trying to go for, like, root of the issue problems, which is trying to find something else trying to find the great quest to find something else that will give me a hyperfixation. And thank you, Jamie says that they love my content from South Africa. I wonder what time it is, but it's probably more like EU time zone, right? Like, I'm trying to think about how it'd be broken up. How's the gaming backlog? Vins, don't look at me. I have like 70 hours in Hades. It's kind of bad. But we were just talking about that, actually. We were just talking about changes to the channel in terms of, like, I'm gonna stream more. So hopefully the gaming backlog will be tackled. But, like, it's, you know, it's stream more, do some other things less. And it's also, like, you know, trying to find a thing. Trying to find something that, like, makes me happy, as opposed to just something that's just okay. Because there are a lot of things that are just okay, but I feel like life is too short, or at least a YouTube channel. A YouTube channel is not built on reacting to things that are just okay. A YouTube channel is built on reacting to things that are, like, mind-blowing, right? So, yeah, we're gonna do more gaming stuff, and that'll hopefully make me, happy. So, the other thing that I was thinking of, though, and this was, actually the first, thing. But yeah, editing was a major pain in the ass. Imagine gaming and a job, not sexy. Oh my god. Yeah, kinda. That's kinda where we're going. That's kinda where we're going with this, honestly. But yeah, oh, it's 11 p.m. Okay, so it's not too late. We're not too late yet. But it's Friday? No, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. So yeah, some of you have work tomorrow. I mean, I have work every day, because I don't take breaks, which is probably why I'm burnt out or something. So yeah, stream more. Mario Kart, though, yes, we will do, like, I want to do, like, group activity. I know that sounds weird, but, like, Mario Kart Fall Guys, I think that would be fun, like, to actually play games with you guys would be nice. Oh, right, okay, so the other thing, let me look at my notes real quick. Patrons, please don't cancel. It's gonna be okay. I want to spend an entire week streaming. Okay, I said that. Oh yeah, okay, so the other thing I, like, decided last night in the middle of the night was that I would really like to do karaoke, and it's weird because I don't really see a lot of real people do karaoke. Usually when you see a karaoke stream, it's like a VTuber. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a real person, so I don't know how it'll do. I don't know if there's a market for this. Like, I don't know if people, like, do people want, I don't know, but I don't care. Even if it's like 4 people is more than 0. So Arnold gave me some treat yourself, don't be depressed anymore, please, ooh woo, money the other day, which I don't think he'll mind that I said that, because you gotta treat your girl, you know? Some girls get nail money, right? Some girls get, like, hair money, which Arnold also got me hair money, a couple months ago, but anyway, like, some girls, they get, like, treat yourself, buy yourself a nice purse, okay? I get treat yourself, stop being depressed money, from Arnold. Treat your girl, stop being depressed. And so, yeah, so Arnold gave me, don't be depressed anymore, please, I need you, ooh woo, money. And so, I was thinking with the depression money that it would be nice to get a Carafun subscription and then do karaoke. And like I said, I don't know, like, I don't know, I just don't know. I don't know if I should do it on the second channel, because the second channel is all about music, or if it's fine to do it here. I don't think multi-streaming to 2 different YouTube channels makes any sense. Like, that makes no sense to me. I don't know about Twitch. Sorry, anybody on Twitch. I just don't know. Because, like, VTubers do karaoke on Twitch, but it's always a very, like, sussy sort of situation, whereas the VTubers that do karaoke on YouTube, especially Hololive and stuff, they have a Carafun subscription, and then Carafun is, like, you have a license to sing the songs, and you won't get sued. But Twitch's copyright system is less sophisticated than YouTube. So, my fear with Twitch is that Twitch would not understand that I have a license, you know what I mean? Like, Twitch would just hear part of your world from The Little Mermaid and be like, no, you can't do that. And Twitch still has a very, like, again, not a great copyright system, like, in terms of dealing with those things, whereas with YouTube, you can be like, I have the license. Not that I even care, like, I don't really care if karaoke's monetized, I just don't want to have a problem. Like, I don't want to have a problem with my Twitch channel, right? So I don't know. I don't know if it'll be on this channel, I don't know if it'll be on the Calxiyn Cares Too Much channel, because obviously, with the music that we talk about on that channel, it might make more sense, but I do want to do karaoke. I don't know if anybody wants karaoke, but, like, I think that it would be a good way. First of all, I need to practice my audition material, and I need... Like, the problem with me is that if I'm not working, I feel like whatever I'm doing is a waste of time, except for, like, my fan fiction and when I relax and stuff. But my immediate kind of thought, and I'm sure a lot of YouTubers, if you're any kind of artist, you'll relate to this, but, like, I can't do this thing by myself because I could stream it instead. I could stream myself editing. I could, you know, right? Arnold was talking about streaming himself editing the other day. It's like we want to monetize every aspect of our lives just in case there could be a little money, right? Like, even if it's not a lot of money, you're still gonna do it anyway. So I think that what the thing is with karaoke is that, like, I need to practice my audition material, but I hate practicing, like, sitting upstairs, or standing upstairs, I should say. Hello, Heavenly, by the way, first-time chat. This is definitely a very interesting stream to be a first-time chat in, but I appreciate you being here. How do the VTubers get away with karaoke copyright? I mean, a lot of them do what I said, which is get, like, a Carafun subscription. And Carafun's a service that provides you the tracks, and if you're using it for commercial use, like, they have a professional license, and that's okay. On Twitch, I don't know. I mean, there are some people on Twitch, there's something that, like, it won't save your second audio track, so it's like everybody hears it in the moment, but then after that, it's kind of like, what happened to it? I don't know, right? But yeah. Just checked Discord and saw the ad. That's good. Our Discord has been getting, like, harassed by bots recently. So I'm surprised that anyone checks the Discord, but I appreciate everyone who is, who joins the Discord, who interacts in the Discord, and who, looks in the Discord. But yeah, we've been getting, like, bot attacked. But yeah, so karaoke, I think, would be nice. And it would make me less sad, I think. So I think that I don't care. Like, again, I'm like, okay, if, like, 4 people show up, I'll only cry a little bit. But I think that it's just, it would be a good exercise to do it and perform my audition material and then feel like I'm doing this for a purpose. And then I could always, like, cut up the songs and re-upload them on the Clips channel. That's a weird thing, right? Like, with streaming more, you need discoverability, right? Like, that's the problem, is that, so people tell you, well, make videos, make clips, make this, make that, and, you know, it's a very valid point when people say that. However, I think that I'm in a very good position to kind of switch over to streaming more because I do have a built-in audience, right? Like, in terms of my YouTube channel, and obviously, not everybody... like, not everyone that watches Has Been Hotel is going to tune into a Just Chatting stream. But if they see that I'm doing karaoke, maybe they'll be like, oh, I wonder if she'll sing any Has Been songs, right? Like, you know, discoverability is definitely something I've been thinking about. Like, when you make a change like that, you have to make sure that you kind of advertise why people should want to come there in the stream. But, I feel like that it's also good that if I do it on my main YouTube channel, hopefully someone will be around. Hopefully someone will be there. Yes, don't worry. Little goody two-shoes. I haven't forgotten. I feel so bad because there are so many things, like, you know, I feel really bad about the Oscars. The other Ruby tubers are probably like, what the fuck is wrong with Cal? Can she not just sit in front of the camera and do the Oscars intro? Like, what is going on over there? But yeah, like, I can't. Short answer is no, apparently not. So yeah, I mean, I may reach out to some of the Ruby tubers and see if they can help me just, like, with rudimentary thing. Like, I have my script written, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I wrote my script, but, like, I think part of it is thinking that the script isn't that good, so maybe I could ask, I don't know, somebody, if somebody's not busy, they can help, in terms of, like, can you help me write my scripts? Because it's not even that I can't write my own scripts, it's just become this, like, weird, I don't know. It's become this weird, like, ADHD task where I don't want to do it because I feel like that, first of all, like, it's gonna be a big production, and it's gonna take, like, an entire day out of a very already precious workday, which makes me sound kind of spoiled because obviously all the other Ruby tubers had to submit their stuff. But it's also just because when I do it, I know that that's it. And I don't think that's meshing very well with my brain right now. Like, just this idea that after we do the Oscars, that could be the last Oscars. I feel like that if Volume 10 gets announced, I'll be there. Like, I will be recording, like, you know what I mean? I will dress up, I will get ready, I will do my script, but it's just, it's one of those weird things where you prolong it because you don't want it to end. So I hope the other Ruby tubers can understand. There's also the thing where in my head I'm like, well, Arnold has to edit it anyway, so what's the point of recording now and, like, you know, taking all that time to record it if we have to wait till he has time to edit anyway? So, like, you know, I think that there's also a procrastination thing where I'm like, well, as long as Arnold isn't going to edit it anytime soon, we're okay. Whereas when Arnold catches up with all of his work and he's like, okay, Cal, this has gone on long enough, I have free time to edit the Oscars, then it'll be like, oh, shit. Hold on, we have to change the music. Oh, there's a flamingo joke in the Twitch chat. Why do flamingos only lift one leg? Because if they lifted two, they'd fall. That's such like, I love jokes that are like, that's not a joke, but that's just a fact. In a way. Oh, Arnold's doing fine. I probably, hold on. I'm gonna finish my apple first, and then I'm gonna, because I think it's funny. But yeah, let me finish my food. Thank you, Den, for the follow, by the way. Hold on. Let me just preface that with a couple things, okay? I'm already laughing because it was so, to me, it's so funny. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but I like to be someone who is in tune with Ruby all over the internet, regardless of the stance of the community necessarily. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I like to look at Ruby on Tumblr. I like to look at Ruby on Twitter. I like to look in different Discord servers. I like to look in the Ruby Critics Discord server. Like, I like to be in tune with everywhere, even if people may act a fool in the area. So, as I was doing my regular sort of sweep of things, alright, I look on the Ruby 4chan, which I know what you guys are gonna say, like, Cal, why would you do that? Like, why would you? But I like to see, I keep tabs, I guess I should say, on different parts of the community and what people say and whatever. And so, like, I don't go there in terms of, I don't post there, right? I don't, like, enjoy, like, I don't spend my social media leisure time on the Ruby 4chan. However, I do check the Ruby 4chan, especially because, like, things have sometimes been leaked on the Ruby 4chan. So it's good to keep a pulse. That's what I mean to say. Like, you'll have, I don't know, journalists or whoever, like, people talk about, oh, I like to keep a pulse on this thing. Like, I like to keep a pulse on things, right? So I'm on the Ruby 4chan, okay? That's my, like, dirty, like, guilty pleasure little secret, is that I regularly look at the Ruby 4chan. Oh my god, I wonder if this will end up here. It might. Somebody may post about it, that it was discussed in the stream. Anyway, so I am looking, and someone says on Ruby 4chan, why is Murder of Birds so depressed? And there's a couple of different answers, right? in terms of like, well, Rooster Teeth is shutting down, and, you know, like, they're a big Rooster Teeth fanboy. Like, Arnold is a big Rooster Teeth fanboy. No wonder he's sad. And so there's a variety of responses, some of them including words that I cannot repeat, but whatever. So I keep looking, because I'm like, what do they mean by that? Like, are they talking about Arnold's, like, RVB video? Like, why are they talking about Arnold all of a sudden? Like, why would they say that Arnold's depressed? I don't know. I don't know what spurred the person to post about it. I don't know if Arnold maybe tweeted something, but they didn't even post a screenshot of anything. They just said, what happened? Like, what happened to Murder of Birds? Why is he so depressed? Okay, and somebody replies, and they said, I would also go to the tree if I was dating Calxiyn, which I looked at that and I was like, I don't think you guys understand. I'm the one who's about to go to the tree. And I saw that and I was like, what do you mean? Arnold's depressed. I'm the one who's depressed. What are you talking about? Like, Arnold worships the ground I walk on. I'm the one who's sad. Oh, man. So I thought that was funny. It was just a little humorous little moment. If you're out there, Ruby 4chan, I don't know why. Like, why do they feel the need? I don't know. It's in the rules of the 4chan that, like, random e-celeb drama should not be in the thread. So unless they were talking about Arnold for a Ruby-related reason, I'm not sure why they were bringing us up in terms of RubyTubers or whatever. But yeah, I thought it was funny because it's like all the focus was on in terms of like, why is Arnold depressed? And I was like, Arnold's not the one who's depressed. It's me. Do you know that Wicked meme? Where it's like, it's Elphaba and it's like, she's flying upwards and she's like, I'm the one you want! It's me! It's me! And she has that like giant sustained no, like that's what I think of. I'm like, that was weird. But yeah, I mean, you know, Calliope, I think it's Calliope, I hope it's Calliope. Calliope has a really interesting line that resonates with me in one of her songs, and it's like, you will never hate me more than I hate myself. Like, that's kind of the vibe of it. So that's why these things don't quite bother me, because I'm like, okay, yeah, like, but you'll never get to the level that I'm at. We are truly our worst critics, right? And so there's nothing that, like, anyone has said that I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's nothing that anyone has said that I haven't been like, that I haven't thought, I suppose. You know. I have like, hold on. I have like an eyelash or something. There we go. Why can't Nickelodeon buy the rights to Ruby? I think it's probably going to be Crunchyroll, to be perfectly honest with you. So I think that it'll be okay. You know, like, I think that it'll be okay. We care about you, Cal. Thank you, thank you. I mean, I was mostly, we already got through the sad boy hours part of this stream, but yes, I do appreciate it. But yeah, and so, you know, part of the reason why I want to stream more is just to talk with you guys, right? Because that's something I've also noticed in terms of, like, Twitter and stuff. It's like, content creators don't tend to be very open about these things. Or at least in our demographic. Like, you do have streamers that are a bit more, but I think that, you know, with reaction YouTubers, it's very much like the energy and the go, 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 right? And so, like I said before, it's not that that side is fake, but you guys only really see one side of me, and that's a side of me where I'm at, like, 100%. And, like, maybe you don't need to be at 100% all the time. Like, maybe it's nice to just have a chill conversation where it's like, Cal's at, like, 50%. But, you know, I mentioned this earlier, but I'm a very, like, contemplative or thoughtful type of person, you know? And, like, it probably, to people in real life, they probably don't think that I'm outgoing because of that. Like, if you show people in real life my YouTube channel, they've probably never seen me act that way at all. But if I showed you guys on my YouTube channel how I act in real life, that would also be foreign to you. It'd be nice to marry these things, right? Like, that's kind of what it comes down to, is you want to marry these things together. You don't just want to be known for kind of, if you're known for being passionate and overreactive, what happens when you don't feel passionate about something, right? And so I think that it'll be nice to kind of have more chill streams and stuff like that, because you know, obviously there's the idea of, like, kayfabe, I guess, of, like, the performance, and, like, maybe people don't want to, like, come and talk in a bummer stream, right? Like, maybe they only want to, like, be around Hunter and I when we are at 100%, and that's fair, but I think it's also just about giving people options, right? You guys are saying in the Twitch chat that you hope that they keep the YouTube channels up because you like $1 million butt. Hunter and I have $1 million butt cards. I would love to, like, we used to do streams where we, like, did that, like, where we would play with the cards, actually. That may be fun to do. Marriage! Everybody always thinks that when I have an announcement, it's that I'm pregnant or we're getting married. It's so funny. Oh, hi, Malin. Malin, you kind of missed, you missed everything. No, I'm just kidding. See, Malin's another person where I'm like, yeah, I know Malin, I recognize. But yeah, we were just talking about, like, some changes, some things that we're going to try, you know, because, like, it's fully possible that next week I will be like, I'm obsessed with free reign, I changed my mind. So I wouldn't even call this, like, an announcement, because it's not even really set in stone. It's like, it's more of a, like, hey guys, I had this idea, and you guys can be like, boo! If you don't like it. But, like, you know what I mean? It's not even, like, an announcement of, like, that this is a permanent change. It's, like, a YouTube channel is kind of a living entity. Like, everything is in flux. It's not like that there's a permanent decision. It's more like just the flow of content. It's gonna be, I don't know, this sounds kind of weird, but, like, it's, like, instead of a chocolate fountain, it's gonna be more like, you know, like a fruit punch river for a while. Like, instead of a chocolate river, it's, like, going to be kind of a candy cane flavor. Like, it's still the same river. It's just, like, you know, how they're like, you can't step in the same river twice because the water's always changing or whatever, like how they say in Pocahontas. It's kind of like that. It's like, it's not like a permanent, there is no permanency. I think that's the other thing I like about YouTube as opposed to other things. It's like, you make a painting and you're done, right? And, like, yeah, you make a video and you're done with the video, but something I really like about YouTube, and I'm sure, you know, other content creators may agree, something I like about YouTube in comparison to, I don't know, TikTok or whatever, like, when you think about it, there's, on TikTok, it's like you have your 15 minutes of fame, and you're always chasing that viral video, and you always want, like, the most views and whatever. And then on, you know, on other platforms, like with other things, it's like you make your magnum opus. Does that make sense? Like, TikTok is about making a bunch of, and not all TikTok, because some people put a lot of work into their TikTok, but to me, as an outsider, as someone who doesn't really like to make TikToks, right? I see it as, like, TikTok is like, you're trying to get your 15 minutes, right? You're trying to get, like, you need everybody's, oh my goodness, what is wrong with me today? You need everybody's attention in the first 10 seconds, right? And, like, I've never been that type of person because I like to analyze things very thoroughly, right? And that's obviously, that's kind of why, like, you know, Arnold and I were talking, like, if you do decide to stream full time, you're going to need to try to do some discoverability. You'll need to do shorts and stuff. I'm kind of thinking of clips in terms of, like, how the HoloLive girls people will clip them. Like, that's the type of clips, like, not shorts, like 6 minutes out of a 3-hour stream or something. Like, that's the kind of clips I'm thinking about, because I don't like this idea of, like, I need to perfectly articulate my point and capture your attention in the first 10 seconds, because especially in an academic context, like about the second channel and the song analysis, I can't deliver my point in 10 seconds. You need to sit there and you need to listen. Like, this is a lesson, right? And so that sort of thing, it just does not serve well. Cal, drink some water. You are definitely right. A very good point. I forgot. What was I talking about? I don't remember. Oh yeah, like, TikTok, it's like you're doing stuff, you're just trend hopping, right? To some extent. And then with art or, like, fanfic or other things, it's like, well, this isn't a living, breathing thing. This is a thing, like, you... Sorry, I needed to make sure the music wasn't, like, sus. And so, like, it's not a living thing. Like, you draw, and then you post a drawing, and then there it is, and it's static. And I think that the difference between, like, YouTube channels or, you know, things of that nature is that, like, it's kind of like live theater in a sense, and I think that's why I like it so much. It's like, this is a living, breathing thing. and nothing is ever a permanent, unless you like delete your entire channel, right? Like nothing is a permanent decision. Yes, you make things and those things are complete, but that doesn't mean your channel is necessarily complete. And so it's a nice middle ground between, yes, you do have to finish things, and yes, like sometimes you hop on the trends or whatever, but it's a nice blend of like, I guess the TikTokification of things where you're always chasing, and then kind of the more artistic side where you make your grand masterpiece. Like, I feel like that there's a nice middle ground in between. You're trying to make a good video, but it also doesn't need to be a masterpiece, right? And it's also not the only good thing that you will ever make. Whereas with art, it's like, oh, artists have their one masterpiece, right? Oh, thank you for the 500 bits, Zombie. Me in a nutshell, after doing YouTube for 11 years, now I have days where I feel lazy and burnt out. I really do love making content for people, but I feel massively overwhelmed and massively overwhelmed of disappointing everyone. Oh, okay, I see. So I put my mind and body to its limits and edit nonstop, lack of sleep, energy, etc. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You have to take care of yourself, right? Because if you go nonstop, you will definitely get burnt out. But you know, it's like how I talked about before, like that sort of Venn diagram of the passion you have and then the money it makes you, right? Like, I've always been a passion-driven person, and so that's enough to keep me going, and so you have to make sure, first of all, you do need to take care of yourself. I do edit for 16 hours when I really care about something, so I do understand. So, yes, take care of yourself, of course, but you know, as long as you love to make the thing, that can be enough to keep you going sometimes. And I think the other thing is that, how do I explain this? I'm trying to think, like, you know, it only gets worse. I've been doing YouTube for 7 years. It's less exciting now. No, I don't want you guys to think that it gets worse. Moving from gaming to reacting helped though. Well, that's good to hear that it helped. I think that I'm trying to think. It's understandable to be worried that people are going to be disappointed in you, I think. But the way that I think about it is that, like, an audience, like, kind of like the river analogy I used earlier, it's like, your audience is not always the same group of people, and so, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's not like, if you disappoint your mom, right, that's your mom, you only have one mom, but, like, for example, for me, what I was talking about, like, oh, I think I'm gonna kind of pull back on the reactions, and I'm going to stream more. Some people may be disappointed in that, but some people may like that change, and so, as much, I don't want to say you will always disappoint someone, because that's kind of the glass is half empty, but it's like you will always disappoint someone. You will always disappoint someone. Like, you know what I mean? It's that sort of meme, but then on the other end, it's like, but somebody will always be pleased, right? Somebody will, as much as somebody will always be disappointed, somebody will always be happy, and as long as you aren't disappointing, like, your entire audience, like, I think that it's okay. Like, it's okay to move and change. Like, if you guys were all like, Cal, I don't want to see you stream ever. Why would you do that? Like, if everybody disliked that, like, if everybody booed me off the stage, I'd be like, okay, that's a little scary, like, you know? But, like, I know that at least, even if not everyone is necessarily happy, when you have a clear idea of what you want your channel to be, I think that you will always be okay, no matter what you do, because the nucleus of the channel, at least for me, right, is that this was supposed to be a place where I shared myself reacting to things, whether it's games or Ruby or, you know, like how you guys are talking about switching from reacting to games or switching from gaming to reactions and like all of that stuff. Like, I feel like on this channel, because Arnold, for example, this is not an Arnold slander stream, by the way, but like, you know, Arnold, for example, he made a Genshin channel, which makes sense because to some extent, the Murder of Birds channel had a skewed focus on like RVB and Ruby and whatever. But I feel like that, like, the reason why I can do gaming on this channel is because Hunter and I conceptualized this channel as the two of us doing things that we were passionate about. And so whether it's games or Ruby or Miraculous or whatever, I think the reason why we've basically been able to pivot so well is because the people understood. You sign a contract with your audience, so to speak, right? And so the contract, I think, that people understood when it came to Hunter and I is that, like, this was a personality-based channel as opposed to, like, a has-been hotel channel. And obviously, you will see view discrepancy because we haven't niched down. Like, that's something that they always say. Like, for example, Zombie in the Twitch chat, you guys are saying, copyright stuff, and then also Zombie is saying that they made two separate channels, like a gaming reaction and then a show reaction, which makes a lot of sense. It does. I think that, you know, if I hadn't started my channel with gaming, I would have definitely done that. But then from my POV, thinking about how my channel actually started with Kingdom Hearts and not Ruby, I guess your audience has a contract with you and what you will deliver them. And some people are like, yeah, I just care about Has-Been Hotel, which is fine, but I think that most people, at least, understood that when they see our channel, they know that it's not a Has-Been channel, for example, or a Ruby channel. They know it's like, it's Calxiyn and Hunter, or sometimes just Calxiyn, right? And so I think that that's really the difference, is that if you frame your channel as, like, for example, a gaming news channel or like gaming trailer reaction channel, then when you don't do gaming anymore, it's like, oh my god, like, what happened? But I think for us, you know, I've uploaded Kingdom Hearts reactions that have gotten like 30k views, and then sometimes I upload anime that gets like 100 views, right? And so it's not like all of the games that I've posted aren't successful, or all of the anime that I've posted aren't successful, like, you know, in terms of niching down, because you have some people, right, like, the problem with niching down for them is that only, for example, Hades, only their Hades content gets views. If they play Cult of the Lamb, they get no views, or people that play Stardew Valley and stuff like that. If you niche down to a certain game or a certain show, eventually people forget that you do other things. But I think that, you know, because Hunter and I have always done other things, we're in a pretty good position. Words of wisdom with Calxiyn. It's funny you say that, Shane Train, because there was a, like, I was supposed to do an advice stream once. And I was like, in what world am I qualified to give advice? But I think I still have the notes from the advice stream. So, it does exist. Maybe we'll do that sometime. I took the questions through, like, a Japanese website that a lot of the VTubers use, but I can't quite remember the name. I kind of want to just do everything on one channel, but it kills my channel, and then I have to rebuild it. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. That's a real struggle, I think. And there's really there's no set advice, right? Because on one hand, you have people like Arnold that made Murder of Birds impact, right? Like Genshin Honkai niche down. And it's very, very successful. But then you have other people like HoloLive, right? Where the girls do get, like, a varying amount of views depending on what they're streaming, but at the end of the day, like, people understand, oh, you're there for Calliope, right? I love Calliope. I don't know if can you guys see how much I love Calliope back there? There's so much Calliope stuff. And so, yeah, like, it depends on whether or not you kind of want to put yourself through hell, I think, a little bit, right? And so, I think Arnold could have put himself through hell, but it wouldn't have been worth it. I think that making a Murder of Birds Impact channel, especially for a game that is as big and as vast as Genshin, makes a lot of sense to me. Because Genshin is something that's going to go on for years. It makes a lot of sense. But for me, for example, I wouldn't necessarily make a Hades channel, right? Because that doesn't quite... Hades is something that's eventually going to be over. You know, whereas I guess that's really the key, right? It's like niching down makes sense if you can niche. And I know that sounds so weird, like, what does that even mean? But, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, with the song channel, makes sense to niche down because the niche is, like, song, Barbie, animated, movie, musical analysis, right? And there's so much content that we could do. But when you're, you know, even gaming and anime is way too big of a niche, I think. to some extent. And so niche down only makes sense if you're only going to play one game or watch a specific type of anime. Like if you are going to be the expert on shonen anime, right? Like that's when reactions, like having reactions and niching down makes some sense, I think. Oh man. Yes, Zombie also posted about like people demanding series. It's interesting because I get the occasional demand, but it's funny how some people like I find it funny that like I don't get a lot of demands in terms of like nobody except for that one person earlier, no one's like, where is Arcane? And I'm just like, I kind of want people to ask. I think that it's just that maybe my viewers are a bit more polite and they understand that if I haven't posted Arcane, it's just because like I haven't had time. But I almost like, I kind of want people to be like, where's the Arcane video? I'm so sad. Somebody actually, can I read this really quickly? Also, I see you idiots react, and I also see my name is Poot in the chat. You can, yes, you can go ahead and ask a question. This has turned into a very interesting Q&A. I want to read this comment, okay? And this is, like, the closest I felt like being alive. Like, I was alive again when I read this comment. Where is it? I need to find it. I don't know if they deleted it. I don't know if they were embarrassed. Oh, okay. To be honest, this rewrite makes so much more sense. I would, in fact, sell my organs for this rewrite. It is great. Like, that is, like, I need a bit more of that energy. You know, if you guys feel, like, intimidated or something, if you guys are like, I don't want to bug Cal, I don't want to ask, like, for her to react to Arcane or something, because I know she's really busy, I kind of need a little bit, like, your fan fiction destroyed me kind of like, I need, like, that sort of energy a little bit, to be honest. I think that obviously, the way that Zombie described, that sounds really rude. Don't do that. Like, don't demand people to watch shows that either they don't want to watch or, you know, that clearly it's busy and, like, people are being mean about it. But, you know, if you guys left the occasional, like, Cal, I am desperate for you and Hunter to play another Barbie game. That is the only thing that gives me the will to live. Like, I'll take it. Like, I'll take some, like, not rude, but, like, kind of like mildly almost threatening comments. I'll take one every once in a while. In terms of like, Cal, please do this, we're on our knees. You have to feed your children. Like, yeah, okay, I'll take that. Sock, I have no idea how to say your username, but on Twitch, thank you. But what made you want to do reactions? It's an interesting question because I don't know. And I hate to say that because like, you guys were like, Cal, how did you learn to edit? And I'm like, I don't know, bestie. I was 9 years old. But yeah, it's kind of true. It's kind of true that, like, yeah, I was really, really young, and so I don't quite have recollections. But I started to react to Kingdom Hearts stuff. So probably the simple answer is that I saw other Kingdom Hearts YouTubers do it, and I was like, I like this thing. Right? So, I think that was probably how it happened, but with Ruby specifically, Hunter was the one who suggested that we make Ruby content. And it's funny because I don't watch many reactions. I won't say I don't watch reactions because that's not entirely true, but it's funny how YouTubers sometimes don't watch the content that they make, right? Hunter doesn't watch reaction videos. She doesn't like reaction videos. That's our job, is to make reaction videos, bestie. Like, Hunter likes, you know, probably not anymore, but like when Hunter was, you know, a wee child, Hunter liked like the Game Grumps and the Yogscast, and I liked those people too, but more so like Markiplier, Paul Soares Jr., who's getting back into Minecraft content, apparently. That's very exciting. That, like, he must be, like, 50 now. I was 12 years old when I started watching Paul Soares Jr.'s channel, because I'm pretty sure the Minecraft website had him up as, like, an official tutorial. Like, he wasn't doing it in an official capacity. Like, Minecraft just decided that he was good enough, like, you know what I mean, as like a spokesperson for Minecraft to be the first tutorial that when you play the game, so I started watching him. That was the first YouTuber I really remember watching. So I think that just natural progression of things, it made sense that I would want to do reactions, because what is gaming content if not a reaction? And I know that that sounds kind of weird, but like that's what gaming content is, kind of. You like, I don't even mean cutscene reactions. It's like a gaming video, you are in constant reaction, and there's this constant like proactivity and then reactivity when you're playing a video game. So yeah, like that's the thing, I suppose. Okay, I didn't think that we were gonna talk this long, to be honest. I'm just gonna quickly use the bathroom, and then I was like, oh, I can wait. Like, I can wait until the stream is done. I don't think we're at, like, any time. What is happening here? Hold on. I don't think we're done. We're gonna go for, like, another hour, I think. So, I'll be right back. Please hold all of your thoughts, or don't hold them. Post them, and I will get to them. I may change the music just because I'm kind of afraid of whatever is happening in the background, and I don't want, you know, I don't want it to pick up on the music too much because I'm not talking, you know what I mean? But yes, so hold all your thoughts, or post them, and then I will get to them. But yeah, I'm just gonna use the bathroom quickly because I have not gotten enough. Actually, I should get some water too. I was so unprepared. I was like, I'm gonna talk for an hour, like a liar. Who even am I? You know what I mean? Is it raining? It shouldn't be raining. I think that in the YouTube video there was probably rain. Rain was probably happening. Alright guys, I am back. Do not worry. This Italian music, guys, it's Mario! It's Mario! Oh my goodness. Oh, that's funny. This somewhat Italian music. Yeah, it's Mario music. Oh goodness. Okay, you guys are saying there's some gems way back. Heard there's a Kingdom Hearts movie? Yeah, there are some leaks. That'd be a nice... I feel like that getting back into Kingdom Hearts content is like kind of on the horizon because there's a Missing Link demo. That's not the right word. What do you call it? Beta test is happening, and then there's also been some Kingdom Hearts rumors. Cal can go on for days. I like it. Oh, man. Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, there has never been a conversation that, like, I couldn't stretch out into, like, a 30-minute TED Talk. So I don't know, like, there's never been just a single sentence that I couldn't make an entire stream out of. So I love how I was like, I'm just gonna talk for an hour. I'm going to announce my semi-retirement, which that's not what happened. If you just came into the stream, I'm not retiring, I'm just kidding. But, like, I'm coming to announce my little brain problems and then my changes and whatever I'm going to do. And yes, I am Italian. I do like the music though. Like, it's a vibe. It does remind me of being Italian. Yeah, the Mario music. It has kind of a folk-like quality, so I would agree. But yeah, I just think that that's funny that it's like, Cal, like, you can talk, right? Like, I'm a person that can talk. I don't know why I thought, like, oh, we're just gonna have a little chat. Like, no, there was never a time that a chat stayed little, ever. But yes, I do like watching gamers' reactions to the plot madcap. Especially, you know, Kingdom Hearts, Twisted Wonderland stuff that's very story-heavy, Hades. I'm trying to find more people that care about the story of Hades instead of just, like, damage and builds and stuff, which has been interesting in terms of, like, YouTubers and stuff. And by interesting, I mean impossible. It's been kind of impossible. So, yeah, like, that's the other thing, too, is that, you know, I don't know if Zombie and then Heaven are still around in terms of, like, other YouTubers and stuff, but that's the other thing, too, is that, for me, I have always been a gamer focused on the story, and so I feel like that's the other reason why gaming makes sense on my channel, kind of. It's because, like, it's a reaction channel. Like, my channel is still a reaction channel instead of just a gaming channel, because, like, it's a story in one thing and then a story in another thing, right? And so I think that that's the problem, too, that people run into, like, in terms of niching down. It's all about how you frame things, right? Like, I think that that's really the ticket of it. And so I think that Hunter and I did a really good job of framing ourselves in terms of, like, what we're here for is a reaction to a story thing. And then that way it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if it's an anime, and it doesn't matter if it's a game. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Kingdom Hearts or you know, Ruby. Like, it doesn't matter. It's because people know, at least, that it's about the reaction to the thing as opposed to the gameplay. Like, 100% of the time, it's pretty much, like, about the story. Like, obviously, I will show my gameplay, but if you've watched certain Let's Plays of mine, most of the gameplay does not survive, like, in terms of the edited VOD. Lauren the Flutes playthrough, I will check it out. Yeah, I don't mind if it's old. I do not mind. That's a nice thing about YouTube content, too, is, like, you can upload something and then it kind of flops, but then a couple months later, like, it gets picked up. You know, like, on YouTube, it's not like, oh, if you uploaded something and it didn't do well, your life is over, you're dead, you did bad. Like, it's not like that, you know? Like, your content can have a second life, which is really nice. You know, I think... Obviously, Hades is going to be interesting because I feel like maybe when Hades 2 comes out, my Hades videos will pick up a little bit more. But, like, that happened to me with Wish, right? Like, with Wish, I posted a Wish video, and, like, it did okay. And then it just blew up, right? And then I put a second video, like, a Wish video, and then that video blew up. And then they kind of calmed down. And then in the past couple days... Can I show you guys this? This is okay, right? There's nothing, like, weird and personal on here, right? Like, you guys can see... hold on, that's not a good picture. What is this? This is the second channel, right? So on the second channel, okay, that's a big spike from when I actually uploaded something, but then it goes down, and then now it's like, we're on the rise again. And I was like, what happened? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how? Like, what's happening, right? But I guess, first of all, Wish came out on Disney+, so a lot of people are watching it and seeing how terrible it is. Like, they're seeing how bad it is, and so they're probably getting into the content. But also, you know, my friend on the second channel, a friend of the second channel, I suppose, but they also did Ruby content, too, so that's an interesting story. If Aster ever wants to tell it, someday, but I won't put her on blast. A person that used to do Ruby content, or at least used to be in the Ruby community, actually switched over to music, kind of like I did, in a sense. And so now they have a music channel, Aster Rhyme Master. And so Aster did a video for another channel, and, like, a commission, and then the person uploaded it to their channel, and now it has 100K views, which is interesting. I've never really heard about that. Like, you hear about ghostwriters, right? But you don't really hear, like, they uploaded, it's Aster's voiceover, and it's Aster's script. It was just uploaded on, I guess, this channel is probably more of, like, a production company, I guess, maybe? Maybe that's why? Like, but yeah, so they posted Aster's video with her permission, right? Because it was a commission. So they commissioned Aster for a video, and then posted it on their channel, but it wasn't like, it was still Aster's voice, it was still Aster's presentation. It was just like they wanted it on their channel. I'm assuming that they get the monetization or something. I don't know. Right? But Aster got paid up front. So I think that that's a pretty good gig, you know what I mean? That's a pretty good gig to, like, get paid up front, and then you don't need to worry about how well the video does, because that's on the person that, like, purchased the video, and she still got to do it in her voice. It wasn't like she ghost wrote it for someone, it was still her voice and her words and everything. Yeah, exactly, so it would be like if Eruption Fang was like, Arnold, I don't know anything about Genshin. I will pay you $900. This isn't how much Aster got paid, by the way. I didn't ask because I thought it would be rude to ask. I did not ask how much she got paid. I just made up a number. So, like, it would be like if Eruption Fang was like, you know, Arnold, you know a lot about Genshin. Or, like, Cal, you know a lot about Barbie. I would like a Barbie timeline video, and I want the monetization, but I will pay you $900 up front. That's pretty good to me, bestie. Like, yeah, Eruption Fang, please, I'll make a Barbie video for you. But yes, the second channel is called Calxiyn Cares Too Much. It is all about songwriting and, like, music analysis. And there's a video coming out tomorrow, and it is about Tangled. It is about the Tangled TV show. Yes, 900 Canadian. I would actually ask for 900 US dollars. As opposed, I don't like to be paid in Canadian because Canadian money has less value. I think that, let me see, okay, so if we're doing 900 USD, okay, 900 US dollars is 1,200 Canadian dollars, right? So I always ask to be paid in USD, like with everything. Arnold's like, I'm not even joking. Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, come on, Eruption Fang, give us a call, we're all broke. But yeah, so, I mean, yes, it makes perfect sense, really. It makes perfect sense, to do that, but, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I like to be paid in American money, because the Canadian payout, that's why, like, you guys may be like, how is Cal doing well right now? She only has 300 patrons on Patreon, but, sorry, not 300 patrons, oh my goodness, that would be so many patrons. Like, Cal's only at $300 a month on Patreon, right? But that's US money, so if you convert that to Canadian, like, it's pretty good, bestie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty, it's not like, you know, it's not like I'm rolling in it or anything, but like 300 US dollars is like at least like a quarter? It's like a quarter of what I need to live. Like, you know what I mean? So like, it's not, you know, it's not crazy, but like the conversion rate is everything to me. Like, the conversion rate is everything to me. You can't beat, yeah, you can't beat the dollar, right? So, Canadian dollar sucks. I prefer to get paid in US. And then, it's so sad. So, oh, somebody earlier asked about the Fox and Neo song. Okay, so here's what happened. I don't know if I talked about this before. You can live like a queen in Toronto. If you get paid in US, I guess you could. If you get paid in US money, I guess you could, right? No, but you could not get a house for the low. The houses are ridiculous. Even if you have US money, you will still, housing in the US is cheaper. Oh, somebody asked about the Fox and Neo song, okay? And somebody also mentioned earlier, they mentioned what happened to Fox and Neo Week. Yeah, like the Fox and Neo Week video also got taken out by my depression, unfortunately. So, I don't know. Again, I appreciate everyone that participated in Fox and Neo Week, though. I feel really bad that Hunter and I did not do a video going through the submissions, but I do want everyone to know that I saw every single one, and, like, I treasure them in my heart, and I look at them when I get sad, so I hope that people aren't like, wow, I participated in this thing, and Cal didn't even, you know, do what she said she was going to do. Like, I hope that people understand that I still, look at them and really, value and appreciate them, even though we never got around to doing the video. We could do it, like, we will probably still do it eventually. I don't know, it just maybe, it'll be next year. It'll be like next Fox and Neo Week. It'll be like combined, right? Or something. It'll be like together. It'll be weird. It'll be like, oh, here's the last 2 years together. I mean, this is kind of a recording booth, Jonesy. Okay, so here's what happened with the Fox and Neo song, okay? I had someone in mind, and I really wanted them. I really wanted them. I can't even articulate further a sentence. I wanted them so bad, like, in terms of for them to do the Fox voice. Unfortunately, I don't actually know what happened, but I'm assuming that they just got really busy. You know, and this is no shade towards them, by the way. Please don't take me out of context. I don't want beef. It's not like that I have beef with them or anything. I'm really sad that they weren't able to do it. But yeah, and so I had someone doing the Fox voice, but then I was like, oh god, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do without them, basically. So I had someone doing the Fox voice, and then they kind of disappeared into the void and they never came back. And I think part of that's my fault. In hindsight, I was very demanding, but they could have always said, that's not how things work, we should do it this way instead, and I would have been okay with that. The problem is that I've never done this before. So when I sent them the email in terms of like, here's how I want to do this, I wanted like a back and forth and like some sort of, I don't know how to explain it, but like a live situation where we would both know the acting choices that we were making. Like, I wanted to direct them, basically. Like, I kind of wanted to direct them in a sort of real-time sort of situation, right? Like, and so I think that, like, in hindsight, I probably demanded a little bit too much, but I was willing to pay them. And they could have also said, like, I've never done a project like that at all, like, managed this way. If you want some advice, let's do it this way instead. And I would have been like, please help me. Like, that's my biggest fear, is that it's like when somebody asks you, in terms of when you're commissioning someone, they ask you, what price are you willing to pay for this? Like, I was talking about this with a friend the other day, but I was trying to communicate with an artist, and they asked me what my budget was. And I'm like, I don't have a budget. My budget is how much you want to be paid. I don't know what the going rate is for this stuff, right? I don't want to be like, $300, and you're like, actually it's $2,000, right? Like, you know, and so I wish that people would be honest about either the process or how much that they would like to be paid for things, because I have a number in my head of how much I think it would cost, but I could be stupid. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how much this stuff costs, right? So I recorded myself doing Fox's voice. And I am kind of like going through the motions about it. I kind of hate it, honestly. Like, sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm a god. This sounds so good. And then other times I'm like, wow, this is a disaster. What the fuck, right? And so like, I recorded Fox's voice. I have not recorded Neo's voice yet. Just because, like, I have this fear that I'm gonna upload it and everyone's gonna be like, Cal, this is the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You're trash, L-ratio. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just afraid to post it at this point. I feel so bad for the composer, because the composer is probably thinking, like, what the fuck happened, right? Like, you know. Like, what happened to her? Like, did she not like it? And no, like, I love the song. I'm just like, I'm really... okay, terrified is not the right word, but it's just because, like, if I wrote, like, a White Rose song, right? People are gonna, even if it sucks, people will be like, you tried your best. Or, like, a Bumblebee song or something. The problem is that, in my head, I'm like, this is already a weird thing on top of another weird thing. So if I post this Fox and Neo song and it sucks, it's like, it's going to suck because it's Fox and Neo, as opposed to, do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, if it's like, you wrote a song about, again, Bumblebee. It's like, oh, that's nice, you tried, right? Even if it's bad, you still tried. But like, if people are gonna see the Fox and Neo thing, and then they're gonna be like, what? It's bad, and it's Fox and Neo, which people also think is bad. Like, a crack ship is not allowed to be bad, basically. Like, you cannot have mid. Crack ships are not allowed to have mid art or mid, I don't know, songs or like mid anything. Crack ships are not allowed to be mid because if you have to convince the people that your crack ship is actually worth it, and so like it's a little bit of a different level of stress. Because, you know, I've seen Rosebird songs and again, Bumblebee and like other different fan songs, right? And like with that, it's like, oh, like look how nice this is. Even if it's not perfect, someone tried. But like that's because there's such a plethora of fan content. It's like you almost have to be the representative of the fan content. Like you have to be like the role model for the fan content. And so if it sucks, what are you gonna do? Hello, Comet. It's nice to see you. You just entered a very interesting conversation. Plot twist, the composer is in the chat. If the composer is out there, I'm so sorry. Like, I promise I have the fullest intention to release the song, and I also have intention to work with him again, like for my VTuber songs. It's just like, I didn't expect this many disasters in terms of like trying to get someone to do the Fox voice, and now that I'm the one who has to do the Fox voice, I'm like, oh god, why would I do that to myself? Crying. Do you guys want to hear the Fox and Neo song? Not all of it. I don't have all of it. Do you guys want to hear a little bit of it? Since you guys brought it up and you guys have been so nice and I've put you guys through so much bullshit today. And not bullshit. We've had a good time. We've had a fun time. But like as a reward for being here and because someone asked, I can show you. It's not mixed though. Like please keep in mind before again L-ratio you're bad. There's no mixing. So these are my raw, like if I show you guys this, first of all, you have to promise not to tell anyone. And then you also have to promise me that you won't be like, wow, that sounds horrible because they're not like mixed or anything. Jonesy, in terms of your question, by the way, because I did see it, I was just like, I'm like, how do I segue back into this? When I go to the US, I make sure that I have my US money from Patreon. But yeah, like it is kind of a bad situation for Canadians to go to the US. It is kind of like a suspicious, it is a little suspicious, for us, because, like, we have to convert our money, so, you're lucky if you already have money, if that makes sense. If you already have US money, you're kind of okay, but if you have to convert your Canadian money, it is painful. Let me just, I love how you guys are like, yeah, like, I'm so glad that you guys are hyping me up, because I'm like, oh god. Ugh. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what was happening in here. I'm gonna mute my desktop audio for a second, just so I can figure out, like, I'm like, what is this? Okay. I'm smiling because I'm like, oh god! I'm trying to figure out what the mixing is on it so I can, like, comfortably, like, show this to you guys. Oh, okay, this should probably be fine. I'm so ready. You guys are so funny. I'm only gonna show you the first minute, okay? Hold on. Can I screen capture? No, that's okay. Damn it, I have to go, but I refuse. Yeah, don't worry. It'll be over in, like, well, this part of the stream. Okay. So I'm gonna show you guys the first 2 minutes. Keep in mind that nothing is mixed. Like, my voice is not mixed. Has not been auto-tuned. Has not, like, nothing has happened. And then also, there's no Neo part. So, you guys can hear the first 2 minutes, though. It's a 6-minute song. This song is 6 minutes long, so even if I show you guys the beginning, it's like... like, there's so much song! There's just so much song, bestie! Okay, also, hopefully Twitch doesn't get mad at me. It's my song, bestie. Like... Can you guys hear this? So this is like they're talking right now. The song hasn't like officially started yet. This is Neo's part that has not been recorded. So the piano is when she is, like, people are singing. Do you really think I knew this would happen? I had no idea you were in Cinder's faction. You know you would have died. Was that your genius plan? You won't let me try. How I wish that you could see that I am not your enemy. I'm not trying to crack wise, but we don't see eye to eye. Roman's blood's not on her hands. I'm not trying to be a wise guy. But we don't see eye to eye. No, we won't see eye to eye. No one has to die. Seems we don't see eye to eye. No, we won't see eye to eye. No one has to die. No, we won't see eye to eye. And that's all you guys get because Neo's parts aren't there. So I mean, there's still more Fox parts, but like there's only so much that will make sense without the Neo parts being there. So yeah, that's the first 2 minutes, I think. But you can tell that it was written, like it's very clear that it was written for a man because I'm like, no, we don't see eye to eye. Like, I'm like all the way down there, bestie. Like, I did not think that I would have to sing this when I wrote it. That's the problem. Like, I thought that I would have somebody else would sing it, right? And someone else would play Fox. But I'm just like, I'm down there. But you know what? It's interesting, right? I'll turn the Nintendo music back on. But, something that we talk about in musical, also, you should definitely, Mr. Leaf, you should definitely follow the second channel, because I talk about songwriting and, like, the minute details of, like, rhymes and, like, everything. Like, I talk about, like, the very specific details of, like, rhymes and structure and everything. So definitely, you in particular, if you want to write songs, you should definitely, follow the second channel and everything. But yeah, so I didn't think that I was voicing Fox. However, you know, there's a composer that I really respect, and his name is Jason Robert Brown. And so some of you guys may know him because he wrote The Last 5 Years, and he also wrote, I think, Songs for a New World, which is a song cycle, and then he also wrote 13, which is kind of like a more kid musical, right? But so somebody asked him in a lecture, what if you can't sing the song that you wrote as a composer, right? And I'm assuming that what that person meant is that they wrote a song for, like, a woman, and they are, like, a man, right? And so, obviously, you know, I don't like to gender stuff like that, but that's just the easiest way to explain it, is, like, if you're a man and you're composing for a soprano, you may not be able to hit that notes, and so if you have to show the song in a workshop, how do you do that? And, like, obviously, you can hire someone to sing it, which is something you can do. But Jason Robert Brown said that even if you cannot sing it on a technical level, every composer should be able to defend their piece, and that means performing it. Like, obviously, not all composers are actors or whatever, but, like, you kind of have to be, because you are the person that is breathing life into that character, so your job as the composer in that moment is to be the actor, is to be the director. You kind of do need to do all of those things, right? You're never just writing a song, I suppose, it was his point, is that because you will eventually have to demo that song and present that song, you need to be the one to make the creative decisions, not like an actor or something, right? And obviously, when the show gets put, like, on Broadway or whatever, like, workshopped and stuff, like, a director obviously makes the decisions after that. Or, like, you know, the singer makes acting choices. But you need to prove why your work should be heard and listened to, and so you cannot rely on later down the line for an alphaba to sing Defying Gravity, right? You as the composer need to be able to prove that Defying Gravity is the song that'll end Act 1 and what the emotions are about and what the feelings are about, right? So, you know, I heard Jason Robert Brown say that and I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? He's absolutely right. Like, yes, I could probably, you know, post again on Twitter and find a man or whatever, but like, who knows Fox and Neo better than I do, really? And so I know that, like, it's probably not gonna be polished, and like, that was probably the good chunk. There's like a second half that was a little dubious in terms of some rhythm situations and whatever. But yeah, I listened to what Jason Robert Brown said and I was like, yeah, he's kind of absolutely right. Like, I shouldn't need to rely on a male singer to sing this, even though it'd be nice to eventually have one in a version that is more done, right? Someday down the line, whatever. I also think that there's a lot of merit in having a demo where you are the one that is singing and you have to tell that story and you have to fight for that story. So to answer the question from like 4 days ago, because it's been years, the chat has gone by. But yeah, like, just to answer the question that somebody asked about the song, yeah, I think that I kind of have to get over myself a little bit, and so it's going to happen. It's still coming. It's still coming for sure. And so I think that Comet said something very true, that we are our worst critics, right? Because I listen to it now and I'm like, it doesn't sound too bad. Like, there's definitely some stuff that, like, the mixer would have to, like, auto-tune and whatever, because I'm still just a girl, right? Like, I'm still just a girl. I'm a soprano. I usually sing way up in the clouds, right? And so it's definitely, like, there are some things there that would have to be cleaned up and whatever. But, like, even as I listen to it now, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't that bad as I remember it. It's not as bad as I remember. And what's important is that the acting choices are there. Because I guess for, like, people that are curious about it, basically, the song takes place, if you've read my fan fiction, where it takes place is that like, the little, like, doo-doo at the beginning, and, like, where it sounds really menacing, is, like, Fox is trying to make a joke and Neo's really not having it. And so if you know, listen to the lyrics, even though you didn't hear Neo's side, Fox is like, I didn't mean to get you arrested. I'm sorry for saving your life, bestie, right? And so I think that his, you know, I say his as if he did it, right? Like, Fox Alistair, the spirit of Fox Alistair possessed me, but he kind of did. Like, the part where it's like, do you really think I knew this would happen? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that sort of voice I put on, like, that was also a choice to cover some of the note problems, like the actual problems with singing it, but, like, his sort of, like, really, best? Like, really? You're blaming me for this? Like, that's, you know, a choice that I like that I made there. So, yeah, like, I think that even if it's not perfectly sung, there are some good choices. And yes, you guys do like the jazz pop situation, and yeah, it's supposed to be a musical theater song, but it's supposed to still have those elements of Ruby. I also appreciate Arnold's neon headphones in the other chat. But yeah, like, even the beginning is one of the Ruby leitmotifs, I think. I'm pretty sure, right? Like that, like, do-do-do-do-do. Like, that's something that happens in Ruby sometimes. It's kind of modified, like, it's not an exact copy, but that's one of the Neo, I think, or just evil, scary. Sometimes I think it happens when Cinder's in a scene, but it's supposed to be scary leitmotif. Like, that's the... And so I wanted it to sound like a Ruby song, but also a musical theater song. And so that was really interesting. There's a lot of interesting things with the instruments, and there are some instruments that are used canonly in the show, like, in order to, like, Neo's parts have an underlying kind of, glockenspiel situation to kind of mimic the waterphone, because, like, a waterphone isn't exactly an instrument. Like, you can't play notes on it, it's more of a sound effect. So we were like, okay, well, how do we get the waterphone sound, but, like, have it be an actual instrument? And so I think that, yeah, we put a glockenspiel in there, and that kind of worked. So yeah, there's, like, some vacuum instruments, which is kind of vague, but, like, yeah, like, there's vacuum, oh my god. There's vacuum instruments when Fox has his little things. Then when Neo has her little things, it's kind of like creepy. I do look back on it though, and I'm like, this structure is a little questionable sometimes. But I think that as me and the composer, as the composer and I get to know each other better, I think that will smooth some of those things out. I mean, it's still really good, like the rhythm and stuff. You know, like I still like it. Like I'm not saying that I'm like, oh my god, that's bad. I'm just saying that, you know, as I've written more music, I understood that maybe some of the things I did in the Fox and Neo song were a little above my pay grade. And like, if you have, you know, composers that are really, you guys may know if you like musicals, but like Jason Robert Brown, Adam Gettle, like there are people that are like notoriously, they write something that is really complicated and you're never supposed to take it to auditions because it's complicated. I feel like the Fox and Neo song is kind of like, it's super complicated. It's really musically complicated and I'm like, why did we do this way? In hindsight, like, you know, again, the composer was following my instruction, but now in hindsight, I'm like, my instruction was a little batshit. Like, there's key changes. There's, like, just rhythm abnormalities, like, to emphasize the point about, like, Neo and Fox and their tension and stuff. It's a very complicated song for being a fan song. That's what Aster said, too. Aster was, like, she listened to it and she was, you know, she was not baffled. That's not the right word, but she was like, Cal, this is, like, kind of insane that you wrote this for the ship, because it's not like a cookie cut or anything. It's really not. Have you seen the new Hell of a Boss trailer teaser? I have not. Hunter and I are going to react to it tomorrow. And I think this is probably a good place to end right now, actually. I know that, you know, some of you, I'm sorry, cartoonists, that you just joined, but I don't know if you guys heard, that was like the final voice crack to end the voice crack. So I do appreciate, though, everybody for tuning in, but we are at the 3-hour mark, which is what I said earlier. I was like, I gotta keep this shit reined in, right? If I'm gonna do more streams and not edit them, I gotta rein in some of this shit. So I think that will probably end in a couple minutes, just so I can decompress and take off my makeup and, you know, have some fun tonight. But it was really nice to talk to all of you guys. I feel so much better. Like, I can't articulate enough, you know. Obviously, in the middle of the stream, we were talking about some serious things. And I just feel so much better. Like, I feel so much better now. And I think that, like, I was I mean, I knew I was onto something, but I think that I was definitely onto something in terms of, like, yeah, like, I need this back and forth. I need the constant interaction and everything. You could swap to Mario Kart. That is true, but we will do an organized Mario Kart. I promise. It'll be organized. A little better. You guys will have ample notice to, like, prepare yourselves for Mario Kart. But I guess this is a good time to talk about, like, in the next 3 days, what's happening. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to go to an audition. I don't know if I'm going to go, just because, like, even though, like I said, I do feel a lot better, but, like, I'm still not exactly, it's not like, guys, you cured my issues. Like, you know, I still feel like I should probably take care of myself and not put myself into another situation, like, that is ample for rejection if I'm already, like, mentally, fragile or whatever. So I probably should not go to the audition. I should probably just sit this one out, like Arnold said. So, tomorrow, I don't know, like, maybe my mom will convince me to go after I'm done streaming and I'll go. But at the very least, either tomorrow we're gonna go pull for Arlecchino and play Genshin, and that'll be on Twitch only, because we'll probably edit that. I don't know if I'll actually play any Genshin, if that makes sense. I may just pull and, like, bye. That may be the motion for tomorrow, depending on how I feel, because Arnold and I, Hunter and I, have to react to Digital Circus at 6 o'clock. So we will do that, and then we'll probably also do the has-been thing, or, sorry, the Hell of a Boss thing that you guys keep, referencing. We will probably, do that tomorrow, too, just to get everything done. Did I miss most of the stream? Yes, unfortunately, I am ending, but you can rewatch it, and it'll be okay. I'd suggest watching probably after the hour mark is most important. When will you do the Mario Kart stream? I'm not sure. That I'm not sure yet. I can only tell you the next 3 days. So Friday, it's at least Genshin and Digital Circus. On Saturday, I will probably play either Twisted Wonderland or Hades. Sunday, again, Twisted Wonderland or Hades situation. Tomorrow, a video comes out on the second channel. Please watch it, because I really like it. It'd make me happy. So the next 3 days, it's kind of weird because I'm like, I'm making all these changes. And the changes are the things I do every day. Like, you guys probably won't actually see the changes until we get into, like, Monday, Tuesday, like, Thursday sort of situation. Because, like, the weekend, I always streamed on the weekend. Nothing is different. Nothing is changed. So it's really gonna be, like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe one day, not this Monday, but, like, maybe next Monday, we will have Mario Kart Monday. That kind of sounds cute. That would be a cute thing to do. But yeah, so regular schedule in terms of this weekend, probably, unless something happens. And then, who knows? I don't know. I want to do Little Goody Two Shoes. I want to finish Little Goody Two Shoes. So I think that, like, Monday is when you guys are going to see the most amount of change in terms of, like, if I suddenly stream on Twitch at, like, 10 in the morning and I'm like, come to work with me, and I edit on stream, like, that'll be kind of the vibe. It'll start on Monday, I think, as opposed to Saturday, Sunday stuff, because, like, this is the usual schedule that I usually have anyway. So yeah. But Digital Circus is gonna be fun. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch Digital Circus tomorrow. I mean, obviously, a very popular thing, so I'm incentivized to go take a look at it, because I know it won't flop. But also, like, it's gonna be nice because I do really love the show and I love the concept. And, you know, I want to talk about this tomorrow, but Digital Circus it's not only a show, it's a phenomenon. And I think that that's a very interesting position for it to be in. So I think, you know, Hunter and I will do that tomorrow. Oh, and yeah, I need to do some technical stuff in regards to karaoke, because I could play it through a speaker, right? And then have me and the sound be on the same audio track, and that makes sense to me. But I know that, like, when people do karaoke, they have to, like, desync their voice or something. Like, they have to do something. So I think that, like, we will probably do karaoke next week. I think I can say that with at least some mild certainty that there will be karaoke and it will happen. But I do have to figure some stuff out, and maybe, like, we might do a scuffed karaoke where it's like it is coming through a speaker and it doesn't come through my computer. But I think that I am pretty sure there's someone in Arnold's Discord server that, like, they know how to do this, so I think I can ask them. Yes, I will create definitely more video essays on other songs. I don't know if you guys saw my post on the Calxiyn Cares Too Much channel, but I beckoned you guys to fight. And I was like, whoever gets the most likes by Friday, that's the song from Epic, the musical, that I will cover. So you guys can all go duke it out in the comments. It's been very interesting to see the comments come in. But yes, do not worry, Taker. It'll definitely happen. The Epic, I think that that's the next thing that I want to do. That's where my mind is pulling me right now. I could do I want to do My Little Pony. I don't know if Ed is still here. I want it, for some reason, like, I feel possessed to cover a My Little Pony song, so it's definitely gonna be more than just Disney and has been. But it is gonna stick to, like, musicals at least. Like, I'm not gonna do a Taylor Swift video. Somebody told me that I should. I'm like, that kind of terrifies me. Like, Taylor Swift fans, you do not want to fuck with the Swifties, right? And I know that my entire video would, like, literally, I would be ripping Taylor Swift apart. So it will usually be musicals. It will always be kind of musical oriented, but it will not just be Disney musicals. It could be Wicked. It could be My Little Pony. For some reason, it's gripping me. It might be Stray Gods. When I finally play Stray Gods, that might be something that happens. But yes, we will cover more songs. The only thing that, like, for me to make a video on my second channel, the only qualifications is that it needs to be a musical or it needs to be animated. Like, as long as it fits into one of those two things, like, it could really be anything. Like, it could be game musical, right? It probably won't be Taylor Swift, but it could be, like, again, the Epic is not Disney, but it's still a musical, you know, there are Barbie movies that aren't musicals, like Swan Lake, that I want to make videos about. So yeah, those are really, and they don't need to be both. So that's the other interesting thing, is that as long as it's a musical, I don't mind covering, like, a Broadway show or, like, a live-action situation, or even some mysterious third thing, like how the Epic is kind of like a demo album. And then for the animation, it doesn't need to be a musical. It can be, like, again, Swan Lake or something, so I will end it here. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you guys for the bits, for the subs. You know, Jonathan's poor super chat earlier where he asked for My Hero Academia. I do feel sort of bad. But yeah, I think that I will end it here, except Kobe is saying that they got a PlayStation Portable, which I'm pretty sure that's a PSP, right? You should get Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. That is the game that you should play. We should all play Kingdom Hearts. I think that that's the biggest takeaway from the stream. But yes, I'll try to find someone to raid. Is Phoenix streaming tonight? I don't know. Like, I feel like Phoenix has a job. Like, I feel like that Phoenix has, like, an actual, like, 9 to 5. And so I think that Phoenix only streams on the week. Yeah, okay, yeah. Phoenix is not streaming. So we'll just end stream. Usually I'd like to raid someone. But, everyone's sleeping or something. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. And yes, always guys, continue to go make your fan content. It makes me happy to see it, but you should also, you know, do it for yourselves. Ruby's not dead. Ruby's not over. So yes, keep going. But I will see you guys tomorrow